Hello and welcome to the Football Social with Sky Bet as we look ahead to England against Panama. Massive game. Joining me in the studio, back once again, Ryan. Back again, enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm back.
Good to have you, and Pato and Pete from Football Daily. Guys, what are you expecting from this game?
I'm expecting England to win.
Yeah,
basically.
I'm expecting a pretty convincing win there. I think you need to be putting teams like Panama aside if you're going to go far in the World Cup.
Yeah, and Pete, tell us about your role today, because you've got a very important role today.
Yes, I am in a makeshift social corner right now, and I am monitoring the comments in the video below. And if you want to get your questions to the guys, tweet them at Football Daily or at SoccerAM with the hashtag #TheFootballSocial, or drop them in the comments below, and I will try my best to get them out to the guys and see what they think about the game and their opinions, etc.
Yeah, get your questions in right now. Pato, great show lined up, and we've got a few other bits coming up as well.
Yeah, I think we do. I think we've got Akinfenwa, who's trying to recreate that Tim Cahill volley against the Netherlands from the 2014 World Cup.
That's a hard goal to recreate.
Well, it upset me at the time. So I think we've got that. Hopefully we're going to go to a Panamanian bar. Samuel Bisecki might be behind enemy lines seeing what's going on. But I think we're kicking off with Gary Neville, who's trying his hand at making some Panamanian food.
Oh, let's have a look. That's what we're going to do.
What are you chopping?
No. I needed to tell you something else before you did this.
He's missed the chicken! He couldn't get to the chicken! He couldn't get to the chicken!
Hi, I'm Johnny and I'm here today to show Gary Neville some traditional dishes from England's opponents in Russia. Next stop is Panama, and today we're going to make a roasted tomato chicken taco.
It's a fajita, isn't it?
It is for now.
Right.
I'm going to show you a cool little way to change that into a taco.
Right. The tomatoes, oh yeah.
In a quarter.
It's my game. Quarters, that's
Quarters.
it. I mean, it's going to a taco, so you don't exactly need them exactly perfect, do you? It's a tomato, you know what I mean? Yeah. There we go, we're done.
We're done?
Right.
And these are done as well.
Bit big. Your little baby ones are better, so you can pick them up in one bite. Refine your work. Let's try and put a twist on it. Let's try and work it. Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Right, so
Let's not waste all of them. Look, I like the fact that you're risking stuff.
when you're cooking for Ilkay Gundogan in the future or Kevin De Bruyne, you can just say there's a bit of a Mancunian red twist on this dish.
Yeah.
We're gonna fry this. There we go.
In the oven.
In the oven. Right, hey. Bring it back. Let's put a twist on it.
Oh. You can have actually cooked that and sliced it.
Yeah, I know, but I just think, I know what you're saying.
We should have done it probably that way.
Come, stick in. Let's be having you. All over me. We're gonna do it two ways and out your way.
No.
So, health and safety, hygiene. We don't want salmonella.
Wash this bowl for us. One step.
That's what we're gonna do.
What are you chopping? No.
That's what we're gonna do.
You've gone balls in there.
Absolutely.
This is
Absolutely gone for it.
You haven't listened.
I needed to tell you something else before you did this.
Does it need lettuce? Because I mean, honestly, you're talking about lettuce, watercress, cucumber as being the three most meaningless foods in the history of foods. These Panamanians are going to be absolutely buzzing with us.
Fuming, I think.
Not fuming, they're going to be buzzing. They're going to be buzzing. We're modernising a traditional Panamanian dish. Mine's done. Efficiency.
You want me to take yours out?
I think so, yeah. It looks cooked, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's cooked.
I'm comfortable with that. Yours are burnt in there. There you go. Hello. Come on, chef. Show me how you do it. Now, the issue I've got with that now, I'll be honest with you, right?
I know where you're going. I know where you're going with it.
I've got, like, loads of what I would call crap. But you're mine. Chicken is the star of the dish. Go on, try and eat yours now. Come on. Right, there you go. Honestly... honestly, no. He's missed the chicken. He couldn't get to the chicken. Honestly, look at him. No, seriously, you have to prove it. Come on, this is not... He's gone to have a big bite of it, and the chicken's whole. Do you know one thing I do? I can't cook, but I eat in a lot of restaurants. I've eaten a lot of... Well done. Panama, we did it. The Panamanian taco, manipulated in Manchester.
Go global with Sky Bet.
Ryan, looks right, that dish, doesn't it?
Yeah, decent to be fair.
I don't think Gary was happy with
pizzas.
with the chicken to vegetable ratio. I don't think Gary was quite happy with that. Right, moving on. The team news is in, so we can bring you... This is the England team that will be going up against Panama. Ryan, very similar side that played against Tunisia. The only change being Ruben Loftus-Cheek in for Dele Alli. What do you make of that?
Yeah, obviously that change's been forced upon him through Dele's injury. I think he's right to keep the same lineup and bring Ruben in, because I think when he come on the other day, he made a positive impact. And I think he deserves his start in this game, so I'm looking forward to seeing him play.
OK, and we've got the Panama team. Now, Pato, I know that you are Panamanian expert here. Same team that Panama are going with again. Haven't scored so far, but there's an amazing amount of caps in this Panamanian team, isn't there? The very experienced side.
I think 6 of them have over 100 caps, but that's kind of not surprising given that there are a couple of 37-year-olds, a couple of 36-year-olds. So, yeah, there's experience all over the place, but I'm expecting they'll be quite conservative in this game. They're going to sit deep, right? I think they only had about 32% of the ball against Belgium, so England can expect to have a lot of the ball, but maybe not a lot of space in the final third, I think.
And one of their danger men is, of course, this man here, their captain, Roman Torres, the man that scored the goal that took them to the World Cup. He's very important for them today, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he plays as a centre-back, but he's able to get forward. He plays for Seattle Sounders in MLS. And I don't know, he's an absolute unit. That seems to be the thing that everyone's focusing on, that he's the heaviest player at the World Cup.
99 kilograms, Pato. We had to message Adi Bayoak at Fenwell before the show to find out what he was. He's 110 kilograms, interestingly, but he is one of the biggest. That is incredible, isn't it? What are you, Ryan?
75.
Fine, OK. So he's definitely taken that then.
It's a big boy.
So that is a big unit, isn't it?
Yeah,
tournament.
Well, I think that in a way, it's going to play into England's hands, I think, because previously we've seen England be a bit susceptible to set pieces, right? You know, there was the goal against Iceland that Iceland scored against them at the Euros. But Harry Maguire coming into this side makes them a lot more secure in the air, and actually Harry Kane defending as well. Both those guys won, I think, 11 aerial duels between them in the previous game, so it's going to be harder for them to take advantage of England at set pieces, I think, though that's going to be what they want to do.
Yeah, and we've got some great incentives thanks to our mates at Sky Bet. Place £10 worth of bets on today's match, today's match, England against Panama, and you'll get a £5 free bet. Minimum odds must be 1 to 3, and it's important that you get your bet in before kick-off. You must be 18 plus, and of course, full terms and conditions apply. Plus, we've also got Request a Bet. Harry Kane to score 2 goals. He is in absolutely prolific form at the minute. It is a price boost from 7 to 2 to 9 to 2. Available again before kick-off only. Odds subject to change. See skybet.com for latest. And of course, you must be 18 plus. So let's look at that England team again, Ryan, and go into it in a little bit more detail. You were very pleased with how England played in their first match, weren't you? Thought they started very strongly. Do you expect them to be the same this game?
Yeah, I think so. I think the first half hour they were positive. They created lots of chances. It was just a shame they didn't. Well, they wasn't more clinical because they could have gone 2 or 3-0 up into half time. And the thing that impressed me the most was they kept going. You know, I think it would have been easy to chase something and start playing long balls and that, but they trusted the way they play and they created the chance at the end, and thankfully Harry took it. But for me, the fact that the boys kept going and believed in the way that they played, it was a really positive sign for me.
They've got to be more clinical, though, haven't they? Surely, because they did waste a few chances early on, and was it not for Harry Kane late minute, they'd be in a terrible situation in the group right now. Yeah,
I mean, they have to be more clinical. That goes without saying. But for me, they need to get Harry the chances. It's all good getting Raheem and Jesse these chances, but the focus has to be on getting Harry chances, because he proved the other day he had 2 chances, he scored 2 goals, and if we can create sort of 4 or 5 opportunities for Harry in every game, then I'm sure he'll score goals.
Pato, I know that you love a stat, so I've got a few stats pre-prepared here.
So pumped.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek, career club appearances 57 compared to Dele Alli's 234. He did do well when he came on, but he's very inexperienced, and this is only his 6th cap for England. Is that a slight concern for you? Not at all?
I don't think inexperience is necessarily an issue. I think this England side, they're the 3rd youngest team at the tournament, I think, but it doesn't really matter, like, if the quality's there. And Loftus-Cheek has had a good season. The question is more, I think, whether he can fit into Ali's role. Like, Ali's such an intelligent presser. You know, he's so good at defending from the front, and Loftus-Cheek hasn't really played in a pressing system before, so the question will be, can he back up the guys around him in that sense? But he's an amazing dribbler, and I think if you're facing a sitting defence, that guy who can beat somebody one-on-one could really make the difference.
Yeah, I think this is the perfect game to bring Ruben in. I really do, because you fully expect to beat Panama and have a lot of the ball, and that plays into Ruben's hands because like you said, he's a dribbler, he can make things happen, and he proved that the other day when he come on, he was a positive spark.
Yeah, had a great game. Right, time for the match. We are moments away. So, Sonia, all that we're waiting for is the monitor, please. I'll give a little round of applause for Sonia for bringing the monitor in. Thank you very much. Sonia, quick score prediction from you, please. The Dutch have got a dance as well.
2-1 England.
2-1 England. On that note, Ryan, do you agree with that?
No, I think it'd be 3-0.
3-0, guys. What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm going with Ryan.
I would agree with around 3-0.
OK, Pete, you are in social corner. We say corner, it's more social on the edge of the sofa
Social
at the
edge
minute.
of the corner, yeah.
What are people tweeting? What are they messaging you?
Well, I mean, I've just seen an absolute belter of a tweet from James Milner, who is clearly living up to the World Cup hype.
Yeah.
If we can get it on screen, perhaps. And he's kicking back with a cup of tea.
There it is.
In classic boring James Milner style. And then a lot of people are a lot of people are also commenting about Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and they're expecting big things from him. So there is quite a lot of pressure on his shoulders to perform.
Yeah, it goes back to what we were saying, though, doesn't it, Ryan, when you were with us for the Tunisia game, that Southgate is sticking by his principles, his belief. He's giving young players a chance. Once again, he's going with someone who's on form. It's great to see that, isn't it?
That's brilliant. It's really refreshing because Gareth's obviously come in, he's got a way of working and he's stuck to it. I think it's really good to see this England team. We have a clear philosophy of how we're going to approach each game. We have the formation sorted now, and you can see by the team selection and squad selection as well. He's picked players for specific positions, and it's really positive, and I'm really excited about this England team.
Yeah,
and I'm also just seeing on Twitter here, there's a stat that this is the 20th different lineup that Gareth Southgate has named.
The 20th different?
Yeah, every game he's played, he's managed England, there's been a different starting 11.
Yeah, we're looking at the pictures now. We are moments away from kick-off. Just had the national anthems. Gareth Southgate, interestingly, got a bit of a shoulder injury, isn't he? The only other injury that England picked up was running in the woods. What did you make of that, Pato?
Oh, well, if somebody's going to take an injury, I suppose it's best that it's the coach. I mean, I don't think he was going to come on or play a significant role in this game.
So it doesn't really matter.
Probably not the worst thing. It's just a pity that it was Ali who got injured, I think.
Yeah.
He's such a crucial player, and he offers something that so few players do in that kind of hybrid midfield and attacker role. He's so smart at playing that the question will be whether Loftus-Cheek can step up. I don't know, I'm quite excited. I'm glad Sterling retained his place as well, because I thought he actually had a good first game. His
goal scoring record needs to improve at international level, doesn't it? Because it's incredible how many goals and assists he got from Man City, but I think he's only scored a few for England. That does need to improve.
To some extent, but he's also moved forward this last season with Man City. And also, when you look at his assists record for England, it becomes a little bit... it becomes a bit better. He's got 2 goals and 11 assists in 39 appearances. So that's a goal involvement every 3 games. Rashford's got a goal involvement for England every 4 games. But somehow Rashford deserves to start over Sterling. I'm not quite seeing it.
With that said, Ryan, Sterling, more advanced role today. Do you expect him to get in the score sheet with the role that he's playing now? Because Loftus-Cheek will probably sit in behind a little bit and allow him to go forward more.
Yeah, I expect him to get chances today. It's just whether or not he's clinical enough to take them, because the other day he was getting in good positions. He had a couple of really good chances, and I'm sure he would have been disappointed he didn't get on the score sheet. But listen, the gaffer's backed him again, and I'm sure that's going to do him a great deal of confidence going into this game, and I'm sure he'll want to repay the gaffer with a good performance and a goal.
Yeah, we spoke about Panama's experience. Their lineup has 808 caps between them. That's 570 more than England. Obviously, it's very well documented that England have one of the most inexperienced teams, youngest teams in this World Cup. Qualified alongside Mexico and Costa Rica, and of course finishing above USA, but only scored 9 goals, Pato, in 10 qualifying group games. Do you expect them to sit back and play quite defensively against England today?
Yeah, and I think that's the sensible way to play against a side that's this much more talented than you. I mean, the worry for them will be that on 70 minutes, when England can introduce some of their dynamic substitutes. So if Rashford comes on, then I'd be worried. I mean, when you look at their top scorers, Blas Perez, I think he's got 43 and 118 at international level. Those are pretty impressive numbers, but he's 37. And I don't really see him troubling the back line. In fact, actually, that was kind of a bit of an untold story from the Tunisia game. I thought how solid England's defence were. Tunisia didn't really get a sniff, except for one lapse of concentration, silly moment that was punished quite harshly with Kyle Walker. So I don't know. I think that they should walk through this game, England. The question is going to be how the Belgium match goes.
Yeah, there's a slight pause in play now, a slight injury, only a minute into the game. Jesse Lingard is just being monitored now. They're just showing a little replay, just a clash of heads.
Ooh. It's quite naughty, actually.
Do you think that's naughty? Yeah.
With the elbow.
And that's exactly what... interesting point that Ryan raised there, because that is exactly what Southgate was doing at the side, implementing that there was an elbow into the head. Do you think Lingard will be OK to carry on? You think that's intentional, Ryan, do you?
Listen, I don't feel like there was any need to lead the way he did.
Yeah.
I think he's probably left one on him early on there. It's the first minute of the game.
Yeah, it is very early on.
Do you think that's one of their tactics, to take the game to them and kind of be very physical?
They are quite a physical team, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I see one of their players come out as well and said they'll make it a physical game. So I'm sure that's going to try to be one of their tactics. It's just England have to be clever and and keep the ball away from them.
Would you have liked to see Danny Rose start this game? Because I thought Ashley Young was okay in the first game, but I think he was quite comprehensively outshone by Kieran Trippier on the other flank, and it would have been nice to see a more natural left back in, I think, in Danny Rose.
Yeah, listen, I think the thing with Kieran Trippier, he's a phenomenal attacking fullback.
Yeah.
You know, his ability to cross the ball is probably one of the best in the Premier League, and listen, I think Ashley Young over the course of the season has probably been the best left back England have got. So after the game the other day, I know he come under a little bit of criticism at times, but listen, I don't think you should change your back five at this stage.
Sure.
They got the win. They had a good. I think everyone played pretty decent.
Yeah.
So get the win today and make sure we qualify, and then maybe think of changes in the Belgium game.
Sure.
The other thing worth pointing out as well, the heat. 30+ degrees, Nizhny Novgorod, have I pronounced that correctly, Pato?
What, as the fluent Russian speaker?
Yeah, is that how they pronounce it?
You know, your guess is as good as mine.
The temperatures, they've been talking about 30+ degrees. Does that play a factor in the match, Ryan, do you think? 'Cause a lot of players won't be used to playing, a lot of the English players certainly won't be used to playing in that heat.
Definitely. I think if you're a team that have not getting much of the ball, you're chasing all the time, I think by the time it gets to 60, 70 minutes, I think that's when it really starts to kick in, you know. I think it's a lot easier when you've got the ball to run about, and mentally it's a lot easier for you. But listen, if it's that hot and you get to 70, 80 minutes, then it's difficult.
Well, this is what Gareth Southgate had to say at the press conference about the heat.
The heat is, of course, different in different parts of the country, and we just have to adapt to that. There's no physiological benefit to training in the heat for the couple of weeks before and thinking there'll be any adaptation. We've just got to cope with that.
Interesting that. He said there's no physiological benefits to training in the heat beforehand. Do you agree with that? Do you go along with that?
I think what he's trying to say is the fact that it's going to be different heat. So you could be playing one week where it's pretty chilly and then hot. I think if it's consistently very hot, then you can prepare your body for that. But if you're constantly changing heats, then listen, I'm sure Gareth and his team know that there's no real benefit in training in the heat.
Pete, what have you got? Social corner for us? What are people talking about?
Yeah, well, I'm just seeing a tweet from Chabaloa about Loftus-Cheek. He's clearly pleased that he is starting. And I'm just getting it up now.
Great run there from the left back.
Oh, damn. Have you got the tweet?
Yeah, so the tweet says 6:45 a.m. alarm goes off for England game. Snooze, snooze. Checks team and my bro Cheeky is starting.
Like it.
Jumps out of bed, drags missus to the hotel lounge to watch game. Come on, boys.
That is what the World Cup is all about.
Yeah.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Any other questions?
Yeah, one question more generally about the World Cup is that with the big teams underperforming, why do you think it is that these big teams have been stumbling at the first hurdle?
It's a good point, that, actually, because we spoke about this the last game, but it's incredible how badly the big teams have started. I mean, there seems to be less of a gap between the so-called big teams and the minor teams in this tournament.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that is the reason why we're seeing that. I think the level of quality between the majority of teams, that gap isn't as big as it used to be. You know, you look at Iceland in the Argentina game, and I mean, a lot of people, you see it as a massive shock, but Iceland have proved that they're not a
tough
bad
to
side.
beat, aren't they, Iceland? Yeah.
I mean, they won their qualifying group, I think, didn't they? And they had a pretty tough group to come to this World Cup. So it just goes to show the level of every team is definitely improving.
On that note, Pato, it's interesting. You look at previous winners. 1998, France win the World Cup. 2002, France out in the group stage. 2006, Italy win the World Cup. 2010, Italy out in the group stage. 2010, Spain win the World Cup. 2014, Spain out in the group stage. 2014, Germany win the World Cup. Are they going to go out in the group stage as well?
I mean, it's entirely possible.
It's an incredible stat, that, isn't it?
Yeah, but then again, when you look at it, you can kind of understand why, right? Because if you have a generation who've won the World Cup, then it might be quite difficult to move those guys on. So, for instance, Iniesta's still starting for Spain.
Yeah.
I would argue he probably shouldn't on the basis of this last season. Yeah, I mean, just because of his age and because of the long season he's had, you see his creative numbers go down this season, his dribble numbers go down, and he's obviously still got a place in the squad. But you can't really rely on him to play every game over the course of a month at the World Cup, which is really intense, right? So, I don't know, I think sometimes teams get a little bit locked into this is our golden generation that won us the World Cup instead of freshening up a little bit more, which perhaps would be a better move.
But how hard is that for, well, a manager that's only just come into the squad to suddenly say to Andres Iniesta, the man that scored the winning goal in the World Cup, oh, by the way, you're on the bench now. It goes back to the problem we said that England had with the golden generation, that players were playing by name rather than form a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think that was the problem for so long for England's sides. I think...
Oh, it's a chance, it's a goal! First goal to England after 7 minutes. And it's John Stones.
Completely unmarked.
Ryan, great start for England.
Just what we wanted. You know, I think England looked dangerous from set pieces the other day, and we're just proving again it's a brilliant ball in from Kieran Trippier, and it's a fantastic header as well.
Now, you said to us last time that Kieran Trippier was one of the best players you played with at set pieces.
Yeah.
Corner, absolutely spot on. And it's a great header as well.
I mean,
it is.
Great goal.
Brilliant header.
It's a long way out.
Brilliant. He's on the penalty spot.
He's
It's
so much
fantastic.
space.
Absolutely brilliant. The time and everything.
Yeah.
Spot on.
And interesting, you said that Kieran Trippier is better with a moving ball than he is on set pieces.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably because he's been exposed more in that situation, you know, for Spurs and England. He very rarely has taken set pieces. This is the first time we've seen him on corners for England. And I think in the opening 2 games, he's proven already. You know, I think the first game he created 6 chances. He's already got an assist today. So his delivery is one of the best around for sure.
It is a great start for England, 1-0 up after 8 minutes. Pato, I think we can go to Sam as well in the Panamanian bar.
Oh, really? I'm excited to see what he's up to.
Oh, no, we can't. Sorry, not yet. I think we'll let him settle in a little bit. I don't think it's as busy as we expected.
OK.
So 8 minutes gone. England do lead 1-0. Great start to the game. Now, Ryan, with this, now do you expect England to go on? They've done the hard bit and scored early. Do you expect the floodgates to open a bit? Because Panama surely have to come out and attack now, surely.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Now Panama have to come out, and that should play into England's hands with the pace we've got going forward. I think the first goal in this game was massive, because if Panama got it, then they would have sat in and made it very difficult. But listen, Panama have to come out, they have to score, and like I say, that should help England.
It's another late challenge. There's been a few of these, haven't there? They're a very physical team. I don't know if it's physical or it's mind games, but that's another very late challenge. There's no attempt on the ball there, is there?
That's a rough one. Especially as he's going nowhere. I'm not really sure of the benefit of that one, but you often see that happen a little bit. But it might also just be that they're not quite as sharp. You know, you see players who are playing in the MLS at the moment. A bunch of these Panamanian players are, and it means that their season is running along a slightly different kind of time scale, right? So if players are at a different point in their season, they may not be quite as sharp as guys just coming off the Premier League campaign. I don't know, that's just an idea.
It's a good theory. Right, so Panama fans are dejected. Let's have a look at how they got on, how they reacted when that goal went in. These are the scenes in the Panamanian bar in London. Ryan, I don't know what Edwin van der Sar's doing there in the front row with the blue and white shirt.
And he's definitely not a Panama fan.
He's not.
He's not wearing the colours, is he? So.
So there you go. That is the scenes in the Panamanian bar. It's filling up. We were quite worried, Pato, at one point, weren't we, at the start of the game, where there was, let's just say, the Panamanian fans left it quite late to get into this bar.
Well, I don't know. I think half the population of Panama is in that bar. so it's difficult to find the people, maybe. But
there we go.
It'll be exciting to see how they react if they score.
If they score. Do you think they will score? Can't see it.
Nah, not really. It'd be great, though. Oh, wow, all the England fans.
They're in Riley
suddenly get annoyed.
In London, I can confirm. Riley Sports Bar in London. Also, the screen's the other way. I don't know if... I hope there's another screen in front of them, or they're just watching something else and they're not bothered about the game. But they look a little bit concerned, a little bit worried. We will be cutting back to them as the game goes on. If they do score, of course, we will be giving you their reaction of themselves and Edwin van der Sar, see how they react. Still 1-0, 11 minutes played. Pete, what else is happening in Social Corner?
There is just one overriding theme on Twitter now, and it is that football is coming home, apparently. Classic England fans getting a bit carried away, goal goes in. Apparently they've won the World Cup now. Can
England win the World Cup, Ryan?
Yeah, of course they can.
I'm getting quite quietly excited about this now.
Yeah, you have to believe. I'm sure at the same time we have to manage the expectations of everyone, but at the end of the day, this England team can win the World Cup. I don't think anyone's been that convincing, and like we said about the levels of teams, there's not much of a difference. I'm sure that later on it gets in the competition, it's just down to probably bits of luck and bits of quality in games.
Luck does play a huge factor in World Cups, doesn't it? You look at almost every team that's won it, they've had a late-minute goal in extra time or a penalty shootout. England need to get over that penalty shootout hoodoo, don't they? They really do need that to happen.
Yeah, I fully expect if England are going to go really far in this competition, we're going to have a penalty shootout and listen, then it's about the mentality and the mindset of just ignoring the situation and focusing on the penalty and putting the ball in the back of the net.
Pato, who's your team, the favourites to win? And haven't you seen every team played? Who do you think of the team to beat?
Well, going in, I thought it was Brazil, and I mean, I still think that they're going to be strong candidates. I think Spain also looked very strong. We didn't know how the managerial change would affect them, but they've got all the talent that you'd want and certainly the experience. Plus, they actually have a kind of plan. Like, you can see the teams at the World Cup who are very skillful but don't have plans. So, for instance, France certainly have the talent to win the World Cup, but they aren't.
Another chance. Oh, sorry, Pato. Carry on.
Right. I mean, I know you're going to get excited today, so I'm just going to deal with this. I mean, if Harry Kane scores, I can only imagine.
Very excited at 1-0. So go on. You were saying you think Spain's game plan has been quite good. I mean, obviously, their game plan getting rid of their manager a day before. Well, that was not so good.
That wasn't great. But they went into the World Cup as I think the second highest pressing side who qualified.
Right.
They were breaking up more than half of their opponent's possession in their half. And the only side pressing higher was Switzerland. So they actually do know how to... If you're a possession side like that, when you lose the ball, you have to have a plan. And we've seen Germany fail with that, right? They push up and up and up, and when they lose the ball, they're not counter-pressing well enough, and they're getting counter-attacked on. Well, Spain, I think, are a little bit more competent at doing it. And I don't know, I still look around that team, and the talent... I mean, they've got Thiago on the bench. It's outrageous, really.
Yeah, it's still 1-0, 14 minutes gone at the minute. Quite comfortable for you. I don't want to jinx it, Ryan, because we did sort of say this watching Tunisia, but I feel like this is quite a comfortable game so far for England. Bearing in mind Panama, if they lose their out, that surely they have to attack. That's going to just suit England down to the ground.
Yeah, they will go for it. I think the only times we've actually seen Panama cause a little bit of a problem to us is England's mistakes and a lapse in concentration.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can happen when you have a lot of the ball. You start taking risks, and I think for England to win this game convincingly, they just have to stay concentrated for the 90 minutes, and like I said, I fully expect us to score more goals.
Talking of good teams in the tournament, the team that I've probably been most impressed with of all of them is Belgium. You look at the two games and how comfortable they've been. They've scored, I think, 8 goals in 2 games. All of their big players are firing. De Bruyne looked great, Hazard, Lukaku. Looking at that game, England versus Belgium, how do you see that going, assuming England win this?
So, I think we've got a real good chance.
Do you?
Oh,
speaking of chance, there was a big chance for Panama there.
Saita.
You think England got a chance for that?
Tunisia game, I know Belgium going forward they were scintillating at times, but Tunisia had to come out, they had to go for the game, and they still look dodgy at the back at times. You know, I know Tunisia scored 2 goals, and at the same time they probably could have had another couple as well. And listen, for me, I feel like you can still get at this Belgium side.
Yeah.
I think they're going to approach games and just go for the fact of we'll score more.
They're very attacking, aren't they? Yeah, very attacking.
That's Martinez and the way he sort of approaches games. And I'm sure if England can stay solid at the back and get chances, then listen, I feel like as a collective unit, England probably look more complete at the moment.
We've got some reaction from a pub in Sheffield when the England goal went in. Obviously, everyone is watching this engrossed. Look at that. That is in Sheffield. Now, that is how you react to a goal going in. Obviously, I don't expect the Panamanians to cheer, but that is how it is done.
Is that slow-mo?
Look at that.
Or they just really...
I think that is slow-mo, Ron. I'd like to think that's slow-mo. But look at that. Whenever you see England cheering a goal, which I love about our fans, is that you just see beer going absolutely everywhere. Which reminds me of your story from the last World Cup, when you were watching the England-Italy game.
Yeah.
But it's just a common theme. But that is at 1-0. So imagine what the scenes would be like if England were to win the World Cup. We can only dream. We can only dream. Pato, we're talking about Belgium. Any other team? Croatia? Croatia have looked quite... So I always... I don't know, because I've been there many times, but I always have a soft spot for Croatia, and I look at them and think they're a team that could do something special. I mean, Modric and Rakitic, too, that's got to be one of the greatest midfield partnerships in the whole tournament. Do you expect them to go far?
I really like them to. I mean, I have a soft spot for Croatia as well. The first World Cup I remember is the 1998 one. That was their first as an independent nation. Yeah, and Boban, Stimac, Simic, Bilic. Like, the quality throughout that squad was outrageous. And I don't know. I mean, in a way, I think the way Argentina played worked for them, right? Argentina were pressing really high, and they've probably got the best selection of press-resistant midfielders in the world with, Rakitic and Modric, but also Brozovic, also Kovacic. They're still a little bit thin in some areas of the squad. Their fullbacks aren't amazing, and up front they don't have a huge amount of depth, but they can definitely give anybody problems. They're a bit lucky to exit to Portugal in extra time.
They were very lucky in that game, yeah.
So I would love to see them go far. I think we'd all like to see, you know, a real dark horse go deep in the World Cup, because it hasn't happened for a while.
And Modric, I'd say one of the players of the tournament so far, would you say?
Yeah, quite convincingly. I think his overall performances have just been absolutely fantastic. You know, I think he's probably the best centre mid in the world, along with Toni Kroos at times, and he's proven that already. He's scored a couple of goals, but his overall performance is just a joy to watch. And I think a few years ago that was Iniesta and Xavi we were talking about, but now it's definitely Luka Modric and probably Toni Kroos as well.
Now, I know you said that England have a chance of winning the World Cup. This is what Southgate had to say about England's expectations going into the tournament.
History is not the important thing for this team. They have an opportunity to create their own history, and they should be excited about that. You know, they're a young team who are going to get better and better. I really enjoy working with all of them, and I'm intrigued to see how far they can go and how well they can play, because I think we saw moments of that the other night.
Southgate seems to have handled everything that has gone his way with utter class. And every time I watch a press conference or post-match reaction, he sort of says the right things. He also seems like he's got a very calming influence on his players.
Yeah, I think he's, like you say, he's handled everything so well. He's been absolutely brilliant. I think being England manager, that's one of the major parts, managing the media, and he seems very calm. He backs his players, and you can tell he gives them confidence to go out there and express themselves. And it's really refreshing to see at times, because I think England teams in the past, they've...
Chance for England. Oh, he's given a penalty. Big moment in the game. We are 19 minutes into the game, and the referee has given England a penalty. It's about time. There's been a penalty in almost every game I've watched in this World Cup. England were denied 2 blatant ones in the first game.
Partial as usual.
Unbelievable from the referee, not even going to VAR against Tunisia. He has given a penalty. That is Lingard that's been fouled. Is that a penalty for you, Ryan?
Yeah, I think it is. You know, I think my initial thought was it was soft, but now we're looking at the replays. Yeah, you can tell he's come through the back of him, really.
Yeah, Escobar on Lingard.
It's a brilliant run from Lingard again. He was doing that the other day against Tunisia in the first half, and he had a few chances, and that man Trippier as well, just picking him out on a sixpence again.
Pato, penalty for you? I think you can't really complain if this gets given as a penalty. It's really poor defending. On the other hand, like, it's hard to see exactly what in it, you know, is the kind of bad moment, but it's just generally...
But he hasn't won the ball, has he? So if you don't win the ball and you make a tackle like that in the box...
Well, you pincer the guy. I mean, it's just stupid, isn't it? But I don't know, especially as I doubt he's going to score from that angle. At a certain point, you've got to back your keeper to deal with it from a tight angle.
The penalty has been given. Ryan, your man again, Harry Kane. Do you expect him to tuck this away? You must have seen him take so many of these in training and in matches. Usually, the end result is goal. Usually,
wood, you know, he's got a great penalty goal-scoring record. He practices all the time.
Does he?
And yeah, I mean, after training, he usually it's sort of 3 to 5 penalties, literally every day. So, listen, I'm sure he'll pick his spot and he'll hit it hard.
Bit of gamesmanship here from the Panamanians. They're trying to slow the play down as much as possible. Now they're encroaching.
So if he gets this, he'll only be behind Lukaku and Ronaldo, right? For the goal.
Lukaku is on 4, Ronaldo is on 4. This would put Harry Kane to 3, yes, which would put him 1 behind. And again, they're doing everything they can to slow him down, Ryan.
Yeah, they are. They're trying to create more pressure for Harry, but listen, he's experienced. He's a top goal scorer, so...
Will that bother him at all, any of that?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so, no. He's strong enough mentally to block that out.
Here we go.
Hopefully.
It's a very short run-up for Harry. This to make it 2-0. This to put Harry Kane on 3 goals as he steps up for England. Oh, it's an incredible penalty. Absolutely top corner. It is 2-0 England. Harry Kane with the goal. Come on. What a penalty that was, Ryan.
That's brilliant. Now, that's one of the best penalties I think I've ever seen.
It's an unbelievable penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember the Ronaldo one against Juventus, and that was top. But
this could be a bloodbath.
This in the World Cup. That's
unbelievable penalty.
That's unstoppable.
I mean,
and it's worth pointing out that the run-up is so short as well.
Left.
Yeah, he's hit top bin.
He can generate so much power.
Yeah.
He's striking the ball so pure. That's
technique.
That's
Shearer-esque, yeah?
Penalty, yeah.
England 2-0 up after 22 minutes. Can we dream of a 5-0 at this stage? Am I getting a bit carried away, Ryan?
Oh, listen, I'm sure Harry will be thinking of a 4-5-0. He'll want to get a couple of goals and even go ahead of Ronaldo and Lukaku. That's the kind of guy he is. And you know, first and foremost, get the win, yes, but we're 2-0 up, 20 minutes gone now. So, like I say, stay concentrated and score more goals.
It's a very good start for England, but unfortunately for Panama, should I say, it's not the best start. This is the reaction in the pub. Here we go as the second goal went in.
That's harsh.
At least they're reacting now, Ryan. There we go. I mean, there's some empty chairs, so presumably some of them have already left. She looks particularly devastated. I'm sure she won't appreciate the camera zooming in at that point. 2-0 down. It is looking very bleak for Panama. Don't forget, Panama have to win this game to have any chance of qualifying. Worth pointing out, though, to be fair to them, we're saying that the bar isn't that full. There's only 250 people from Panama that live in England or that are currently in England. 40 of them are in that bar. That is, as a percentage, very high.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I was hoping you'd help me out there, Pato. It's very high.
Yeah.
That's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think this is my favourite thing about the World Cup, that people who are not
Riley's
interested. Oh, yeah. I spend all my time there. But I think people who are not normally enthusiastic about football get enthusiastic about it. It's like the Olympics in that sense. Like it's genuinely exciting, especially after, you know, a season where, as an Arsenal fan, it wasn't terribly enjoyable at times.
It is, of course, about a sixth of the population. I know that because it was just fed down to me through my ear. Thank you, Mike. As we carry on with the game, it's 2-0, and it's just sort of slowed down a little bit. Would England be happy with 2-0, Ryan? If it's Gareth Southgate, if it is 2-0 at half-time,
100%. Will
they be slowing it down, or they think, let's look at the... Because goal difference is an issue as well, with the amount that Belgium have scored.
I think first and foremost, it's just getting the win. Make sure you get the win. I'm sure if it stays like this after 70 minutes, then they'll start just thinking about the clean sheet. But for the next sort of half hour, 40 minutes, they'll definitely be trying to add to this tally.
Right, Pete, what's going on social? How do they react to that goal?
Well,
I'm sure you've got loads for us.
There is classic Harry Kane mania going on, but it was just interesting. Before the goal went in, I saw that a stat that England's 3 goals have all come from set pieces. Now that is obviously 4.
Yeah.
Obviously that's going to be a big... It's been such a big thing at this World Cup, goals from set pieces.
I think 13 out of England's 18 shots in the first game came from set-piece situations, which I actually don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I mean, England can create from open play, but I think, you know, when you're an international manager, you've got a limited time to coach your players, right? So it makes sense to work on things like set pieces, which can give you like a really big return for quite little investment, time-wise.
Do you see that as a good thing or a bad thing? The fact that we haven't scored from open play. I mean, I think that's quite a positive, that we are scoring penalties, we are scoring corners, but are you concerned that we haven't scored from open play, Pato?
It's not like England don't look dangerous from open play. Like, I mean, if they were absolutely toothless, but the thing is, you're pushing forward, and quite often, you know, there are guys getting muscled out who are winning corners through beating 2 or 3 men. Like, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad situation so long as you do have other weapons in your arsenal. And I think against other sides who come out at England more, they probably will get more opportunities from open play. Against these sides who are going to sit deep, is probably your best weapon.
Ryan, a lot of the questions we had from the first game, loads of people on social, as you remember, were saying, get Vardy on, get Vardy on. People wanted to... Do you expect a Vardy to come on in the second half, that kind of sub? Do you think he'll play any minutes? Because the fans certainly wanted him on in the first game.
Yeah, potentially. I mean... He scored 20 goals in the Premier League last season. He deserves his opportunity in this World Cup. I personally, I feel like the Belgian game will probably suit Jamie Vardy more because they play higher up the pitch and there'll be lots of space for him to go and exploit. I think these games where it's more intricate and teams sort of sit off, that's not really Jamie Vardy's strength.
Yeah.
But like I say, that Belgian game, I expect him to start. I think if England win today, guarantee qualification, then I think it would be probably sensible to start Jamie Vardy and hopefully get him on the score sheet as well because he's an asset. Yeah,
he's a top player. And we can hear from Jamie Vardy now. This is what he had to say yesterday.
Just got to keep going. You've got to make sure that you're putting the effort in on the training field, getting into the gaffer's plans, hopefully get your chance and then make sure that you stay there.
How annoying is Harry Kane when you're trying to get his spot and he goes and scores 2 goals in the opening game?
Guys, it's not annoying at all. At the end of the day, we're all here for one reason. We want to keep winning as many games as possible, and he just popped up with 2 goals that have got us the 3 points. Everyone who's even the 23-man squad are all going to be needed at some point, so you've just got to obviously stay focused, keep putting the effort in and hopefully get your chance, and that's when you've got to make sure it counts.
It's always an interesting question, that, Ryan, isn't it, when they ask a player if they're happy with the player that's playing ahead of them doing well. Obviously, it's a tough question to answer. Do you think that England could implement a system where Vardy could play with Kane, should they need to in this World Cup?
Yeah, definitely. I think Harry has the intelligence to drop off and play more as a 10 at times. Obviously, you want Harry to be up there getting the chances, but in games where teams play higher up and give you that space, Jamie Vardy is a massive asset to any team. And later on in the competition, I feel like Jamie Vardy may be needed more, you know, if we're chasing games or even if we're 1-0 up and looking to see out games. I think instead of bringing on a defender and going deep, I think it would be probably wise and braver to bring on Jamie Vardy and stretch the opposition defence and create problems for them.
A quick one on Panama, Pato. Is there anything that we should be worried about? England fans should be worried about watching them? Is it, I mean, can you see any way back for Panama at all, or it's going to be a struggle, isn't it?
It's difficult at 2-0, isn't it? I mean, they've had a couple of sighters in this game. I know they've got a guy called Adolfo Machado who's got this really long throw on him.
Yes,
and apparently this has been useful for them, but they scored 9 goals in 10 in qualifying.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult to see them making a breakthrough, especially against this defence, which has looked, to be honest, pretty comfortable so far.
Yeah, they're on the attack now, though.
See the attempted throw-in the other day?
I did see the attempted throw. What do you make of that?
Oh, it was just comical, wasn't it?
I mean, you say attempted throw. He didn't actually attempt it.
I don't know what he was trying, to be honest.
It was brilliant. It's been a great World Cup. I tell you what, it's a chance for Panama as they're thinking,
Lost his head.
Right, Ryan, we have got the Sheffield bar. We can go back to the Sheffield bar to see how they reacted to the second goal. And because you asked if it was in slow-mo, we've got it in real time as well. So this is the scenes in the bar. Oh, we sped it up. We sped it up, Ryan. There you go. Look at that.
That's more like
They're going even more crazy. Can you just imagine that? That's the scenes against Panama. Imagine what would happen to this country if England won a World Cup. We'd have a holiday for a week, wouldn't we?
It should be a national holiday, yeah,
amazing.
For sure. I think it's weird because this tournament, I feel like I'm seeing less flags, less excitement at times around the country, but the further we go into the competition, obviously that will come back. It's probably the first tournament we've gone into in a number of years where the expectations were a lot lower than previous years, so that's definitely played into the team's hands for sure.
Definitely.
And I've just seen on Twitter here that as England captain, Harry Kane has now scored 9 goals in 7 games.
Wow, as captain.
As captain.
Yeah. It's interesting that, because they say that sometimes it can give more pressure to players wearing the armband, but to a lot of other players, it works the opposite, doesn't it?
Yeah, Harry's the kind of guy that's always wanted that. He's wanted that pressure. He puts the pressure on himself, you know. He comes out and he's constantly saying he wants to be up there with the best in the world. He wants to challenge Ronaldo and Messi. And to him, having that armband on him is just about pride, you know. It's a pride thing for him.
Pato, Golden Boot, talking about the players there. Who do you expect? Who do you think are the sort of front runners for the Golden Boot?
I mean, Ronaldo's obviously out ahead at the moment, and to be honest, normally if you get 6 or 7 goals, you're pretty much nailed on for the Golden Boot. He's already got 4. But it really depends how far Portugal go. They're going to be out of the group, and their game plan will probably work well against the bigger sides, plus, of course, takes penalties, plus takes free kicks. You kind of back him. I mean, Diego Costa's an outside shout as well. Like, obviously not as high up at the moment, but Spain are always going to create chances. Diego Costa's also completely capable of making something out of nothing, like he did for that incredible first goal against Portugal. So yeah, Diego could have a good World Cup, but I think the smart money's on Ronaldo, right?
Lukaku as well. I mean, Lukaku must have been a bit gutted he got taken off yesterday, because Batshuayi came on and had 4 chances. I mean, Lukaku could potentially have had 4 goals yesterday. Do you think Lukaku's got a shout? Because surely Belgium are going to go quite far in this tournament. You'd like to think.
Yeah, I guess the thing is I'm just less confident in Belgium than I am
as a team,
in Portugal and Spain. I mean, if it were just about Lukaku, then sure. I mean, Lukaku's an amazing player. He's had a great tournament so far, and I mean, his ability to find space in the box is something that's really kind of underplayed about him. People always want to talk about how big and strong he is, but actually, I think he's pretty decent in link-up play, and he's got so much creative talent behind him that you'd always imagine he's going to get at least a couple. The question is whether Belgium can keep them out at the other end.
Another half chance for England there, Ryan. Another one of your former teammates as well, and again from another set piece.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's really encouraging seeing the opportunities we're creating from set pieces, because the latter stages of the competition, there's less chances, and the emphasis is more on set pieces. You know, some games are decided on a special set piece routine or losing your marker. And listen, at every set piece we're we're getting at the moment. We're looking dangerous.
Yeah, we do look very, very good from set pieces at the minute. Pace of the game just slowed a little bit. England have the ball in their own half. Oh.
Just seen Jermaine Genius on Twitter as well saying that Trippier is slowly becoming England's most important player. The guy doesn't stop creating chances.
Wow.
And it is true. He's been arguably England's best player, bar Harry Kane, I think, this tournament so far.
Would you agree with that? Another one of your former teammates, JJ, Ryan?
Yeah, I think he's pretty much spot on there. For me, the most important player in this formation is probably Jordan Henderson, because his spatial awareness and the positions he takes up, it gives the freedom to the likes of Lingard and Loftus-Cheek to run forward and be braver, you know. I think Trips will get all the plaudits because he's creating so many chances, and all the good stuff that he does, it stands out, you know. But the good stuff that Jordan does, you probably don't see it at times. And, you know, it's great to see Trippier creating so many chances because, like I say, for me, he's the best crosser in the Premier League, and he's proving at this World Cup that he's probably the best crosser at the World Cup too. So it's definitely great for England.
He's had a great start to one. Do you think England will play with this same formation? Should they come up against the likes of Germany or France or a stronger opposition in the latter stage? Do you think Southgate will stick to the same formation?
Yeah, I believe so. I think the only thing that he may change against a bigger nation would be adding another striker. You know, I think sometimes you probably think, oh, not to play two up top against the big boys, but listen, for me, when you've got five at the back, you can afford to do that, and especially someone like a Jamie Vardy or a Welbeck or Rashford who can stretch the defence and create space for the midfield and everyone else on the pitch. So I think he'll stick with a five at the back. It's just whether or not he goes with Harry as a lone striker or another striker up there with him.
Just watching a replay of that Harry Kane penalty, which you described as one of the best penalties you've seen. Right, it was an unbelievable penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the pace of it, the accuracy, everything. I think, like I said, the Ronaldo one against Juventus in the last minute.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, was it?
Under the pressure that he was under, that was pretty special. But penalties like that, they're unstoppable, you know. I think you can't expect a keeper to get anywhere near that.
No.
It looks a bit softer on the replay, though, that decision. Jesse Lingard looks a little bit luckier, I think.
You think?
Having watched that back a couple of times, yeah.
Well, let us know what you think. Let us know what you think in the comments section. Pete, what are people saying about the penalty? Was it a penalty? Was it not?
I mean,
maybe we get a little poll going, see what people think.
I'll put up a poll now, but the overriding opinion was that it is a penalty. I think the rationale is if you give the referee an option to give a penalty, you can't really complain when.
And he didn't win the ball as well. So whether it's soft or not, if you don't win the ball, I mean, Pato made a very good point earlier. Why he's making that challenge there when it's probably not a real goal-scoring opportunity because he's moving away from goal is I don't know why the defender's making that challenge in the first place, but it was given. Kane stuck it away, and it is 2-0 England. Another half chance. What a goal! Unbelievable goal! Surely that is England's goal of the tournament. Jesse Lingard has just scored an absolute belter from outside the box, and there is the dance. Ryan, what a goal that was!
That's just top quality, that. I spoke about keepers not getting near Harry's penalty, but that finish there is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely beautiful.
Oh! I mean, it's never mind one of England's best goal of the tournament. That's one of the goals of the tournament, surely.
Far too much.
Opens up his body, absolutely top corner. No keeper in the world is saving that. What a goal. He has got that in his locker, Jesse, hasn't he?
He's done it a few times for Manchester United this season. Even for me, the little intricate ball into Sterling, the little round the corner back to him, the little 1-2 in those tight spaces. That's what you want to see, because at times you have to break teams down. And I mean, that's just beautiful to watch that.
And it's brilliant. They just cut into the England fans once again. I love this. Whenever they go to stadiums in World Cups, it always seems to be 90% full of English fans. They make incredibly turn up in their numbers, and they just cut to the I think that's the England band as well, guys celebrating with their trumpets and all sorts. And I mean, I'd be amazed if Panama got absolutely anything from this game now. Surely we're looking at a
I think
4-5-0, aren't we?
Our 3-0 shot don't at the moment.
Serious drubbing could be on.
What's the internet saying, Pete?
Jesse Lingard is trending, 11.3 thousand tweets about him, and it is a lot of gifs of him dancing.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, he does present a lot of opportunities to make that, but yeah, fair enough.
He does like that dance, Ron. You're not one for a dancer, were you? With goal celebration. What are your thoughts on the Lingard dance?
Listen, scoring a goal is the best thing in the world. As a footballer, that's why you play, and you should be able to enjoy that moment. You know, it's a special feeling, and listen, I love it. I love seeing players happy when they score. You know, you can't go into the crowd anymore and celebrate with them, so Listen, why not have a little dance?
Oh!
Were you ever tempted? Wasn't there that goal? Was it against Sunderland when you were at Spurs where you scored an absolutely outrageous goal? There's a little give and go and then clipped it over the keeper.
Yeah, but
remembering that
the
right?
keeper actually injured me in that game. I got up to celebrate, but I had to go back down. I'd split my muscle.
I remember that, yeah.
Quad, so yeah, I was in serious pain after that. But I'll be honest, I've never been tempted to dance on a football pitch.
Who was the best sort of post-match celebration of all the players you played with?
What do you post-match?
So yeah, after a goal, sorry. Who had the best celebration in their locker from all your teammates?
I think probably Dele Alli's proven that he likes to
dance, doesn't he, as well, yeah.
He's always up to date with all the new dance moves and what's happening and that. So probably him, yeah.
So it's another set piece for England. You can see Kieran Trippier wants the ball. Look, they're all crowding around. Trips wants to be on everything, doesn't he? Every free kick, every corner. He's certainly playing with a man with confidence. They're just having a conversation as to who takes this. There's quite a few players standing around it. Whether they've got something planned for this, this could be something from the training ground. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, I think you've got to back Harry Maguire to score at some point for England in this World Cup. He's so good
in the air. Yeah.
Unbelievable in that first game. I mean, I'm sometimes on the fence about Harry Maguire, but in that first game, he made the difference.
Yeah.
Especially the arrival for the first header was absolutely outrageous.
The Panama centre-half, you said he's 99 kilos. I can't imagine I can't imagine Harry to be far off that, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure Hayes is well into the 90s, yeah.
Well, they're coming up against him. They're just standing over the ball. Trips wants it again. Trips wants absolutely everything. Ashley Young's with him as well. And there's just a bit of a hold-up from the ref. Only 5 minutes before the break. England looking for a fourth goal.
It's a really big team, actually, this England side. You know, with Loftus-Cheek.
Oh, it's oh, wow. Wow, what a goal. England have gone 4-0 up, and they've worked on that. Right, we said they were all standing around as if they were practicing something from the training ground. What a goal that is. England are on absolute fire. And it's another set piece, Ryan.
Brilliant. You know, you said about working on it. There were 7 players around the ball before that free kick was taken.
Yeah.
So there was obviously in discussion with something, and the routine they've done has just worked to an absolute T.
Because they were all standing around. They've obviously planned. There's no luck involved here at all. It's an unbelievable bit of play. What a ball that is.
Just onside, he looks to be.
Just onside again. Kane knows it across.
Ooh, I don't know.
Sterling should score there, really. But
Yeah,
does
I think Raheem would be a bit disappointed he didn't score, to be honest. But
once again, to his credit, he's in the right place at the right time. John Stones on the goal score sheet. Lovely bit of play from Kane, Sterling. Keeper makes a nice save. And there is John Stones. Straight from the training ground.
Smart header as well. Directs that up. Yeah, that would make it the perfect performance, though, wouldn't it, if Raheem Sterling could score a goal as well? Because the hatred for Raheem Sterling will just always perplex me. I'd love for him to get on the score sheet.
Always gets in the right place, though, as we said again, Pato. Finds himself in the right areas. Probably should score in that situation, but once again, he's always in the right areas. He's very much a team player, and he's certainly someone that I wouldn't take him out of the team. He does so much apart from score. Yeah, you know, build-up play and things like that.
He's not an amazing finisher.
they're just checking the goal on VAR to see if it was offside or not.
They're going back to VAR. Now, this would be a real shame for England if this goal was ruled out. They're going to VAR. It does stand. What I love about VAR when they cut to them, they're all wearing the full kits. It's brilliant, isn't it? Love that, absolutely love that. A record win in the World Cup, 3-0 we've just had, Ryan. So England 4-0 up. It's an amazing start from England. Which goal is better then for you? Jesse Lingard from about 25 yards, top corner, or John Stones because of the build-up play? 2 fantastic goals.
For me, Jesse's goal, I think the level of quality shown in that's something special, you know. Obviously, it's great to see routines like that. I'm a bit gutted we've wasted it in a game that we're already 3-0 up in.
I was thinking the same.
I would have liked to
save it for the Germany game. Yeah,
exactly. Like to have seen us save that, but I mean, it just goes to show the work that Gareth and his team are putting in on the training pitch, because to watch a set piece like that come off is brilliant to see.
Yeah, England another chance again.
Loftus-Cheek.
Oh, England are having a great game. Interesting to see Belgium obviously went quite high up and then took some of their big players off. Eden Hazard came off. Romelu Lukaku came off because they were resting them for the England game. Do you think Southgate will look at this and think this is job done and he might rest the likes of Harry Kane give Jamie Vardy some game time, or will he?
Yeah, I mean, job
him on?
will definitely be done. I'm sure from Harry's point of view, he'll want to stay on and get those goals. You know, you speak about Lukaku missing out on so many opportunities. I don't know whether Lukaku got a little slight knock in the game yesterday because Martinez come out and said that he's gonna make some changes to the England game. But from Harry's point of view as a striker, you want to stay on, you want to play the minutes. You know, you can't imagine Portugal to substitute Ronaldo in 60, 70 minutes. But
I don't think Ronaldo would let them do that.
Exactly, yeah. But if he does it, if the gaffer does it, then I'm sure Harry would just respect that.
Yeah. Passo, do you think that Lukaku has got a serious injury for the England game? Do you expect him to play in that game? Or do you think there's a bit of mind games going on there?
Oh, my goodness.
Another penalty.
He's given another penalty.
Wow.
It's another penalty. This is incredible first half.
Me. Let Raheem
The
take
ref
it.
has given another penalty. They're just doing a replay to find out where the infringement was. Doesn't really clear this up, this replay.
Oh, come on. If you're going to put the other arm around as well.
To be fair.
Oh, it's just silly.
I mean,
it's just a carbon copy.
It is a penalty, isn't it? It's exactly what Tunisia did against England.
And when they've got VAR, why would you do this?
Well, exactly.
So
Very good point.
Well, I just don't understand.
That is a blatant penalty, but the question is, why does the defender do that? Especially having watched Tunisia against England.
That is embarrassing from a defender's point of view.
Unbelievable. Because they're going to get,
from that.
and they'll get someone sent off if they carry on like this, and then they will get humiliated. I just don't understand it.
Interestingly, Harry Kane steps up again. Now, mindset, when you've already taken a penalty against the same keeper, psychologically this is hard, isn't it?
Yeah, I hated this. I mean, when I was younger, I always used to take penalties for, like, the Tottenham youth team, the reserves. When I went out on loan at times, I took penalties as well. And to take a second penalty, I hated it.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't...
Is that because you're second-guessing yourself?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, I was... my penalty routine changed over the years. I mean... The older I got, I looked at what the keeper was doing and reacted to that. But when I was younger, I kind of picked a spot and went for it. And I think when you've already scored one past them, that whole mindset and mentality, and it just changes. They've seen you run up, they've seen how you approach it to go a certain way. So,
is he going to dink it? We saw Harry Kane dink one against Liverpool, which was saved.
No,
You'd be surprised if he dinks it?
I'd be surprised if Harry dinks it in a World Cup. I would be quite shocked. Yeah.
Okay. Once again,
this one goes
they
in.
are a lot of mind games, shall we say.
Going to be selling
lots
a lot
of
of
time
drinks
wasting
in that Panamanian bar.
Yes, they are. Very good point.
If there's one person that, I mean, obviously you have more of an insight, but as just a fan, like, you do, Harry Kane does seem like a guy who has absolutely no problem handling pressure.
No.
I've never seen a cooler finisher with both feet, really.
Well, he steps up now.
He's got that
the ref has blown his whistle. A very short run up again. Harry Kane steps up. Oh, it's an incredible goal.
Same place.
Once again, same place. The keeper goes the wrong way. It is England 5, Panama 0. And we are still in the first half. Ryan, we are going to win the World Cup. It's a fact, isn't it?
We've got a chance, yeah.
Come on, start believing, Ryan.
Level for the Golden Boot now.
What a penalty that is.
I believe, yes.
Joint top scorer.
Golden Boot-wise, correct. That is Lukaku, Kane and Ronaldo all on 4.
Oh, John Stones is on his way as well.
John Stones, the way this tournament's going, you wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah.
Everything's going right for England.
It'd be nice if England could get a goal in this game, though, from creating a big chance from open play in the box, just to show they've got that in their locker. They did it in the first game, but even Lingard's, I mean, it's a great hit from the edge of the box. But
We're being very picky now, aren't we?
No, well, I don't know. You know, sometimes in these games now, you kind of want to see like what they can do, like open the taps up. So it'd be quite interesting, to get somebody like Vardy on to maybe get a goal for Sterling, just to see the different tools that you have in the side.
Yeah. Quick word on VAR, Ryan. We've seen an incredible amount of penalties. I think more penalties in this tournament than in the whole of the last World Cup, and we're obviously still in the group stage. There has been an incredible amount of penalties. Obviously, it's the first World Cup we've seen VAR. Are you a fan of VAR? Are you not a fan of it? Where do you stand with it?
Listen, I am a massive fan of it. I really am. After this where we are in this World Cup, I'm a bigger fan of it. You know, I was a bit worried going into it. I didn't feel like we had enough experience. I thought there'd be quite a few problems, but listen, some of the decisions they've made have been absolutely spot on, and it's there to change major incidents in games, and I feel like it's done that. You know, the Tunisia game I found strange. Also the Serbia game as well, and the penalty on Mitrovic. I thought it's just weird how they've missed that, but overall I think the decisions and and that they've made have been absolutely spot on.
Yeah, 2 minutes of injury time has been announced, and we are in the second minute of injury time. England 5, Panama 0. I mean, everything has gone right for England so far. Although Harry Maguire and Torres having a bit of ding-dong there.
That's a heavyweight battle.
Yeah. He's not a blue guy I'd like to mess with.
Instantly, request a bet with Sky Bet. Stones and Kane, both to score a hat-trick, is at 40-1. That is with Sky Bet. Odds subject to change. Don't forget to see skybet.com for later, and you have to be 18+. 40-1 with Sky Bet for them both to score a hat-trick.
They'll want the
Obviously,
clean sheet
terms and conditions apply. You have to be 18+. The way this game is going, I wouldn't put it past England to score a few more. And also, we mentioned the group. Obviously, Belgium been in great form, 5-2 and 3-0 their 2 games. This is big for the group as well, isn't it? Because if England and Belgium draw, it does come down to goal difference. So all of a sudden, England look in a very commanding position, Pato.
They are, definitely. And actually, Belgium had much more of a difficult time breaking down Panama as well. Like, I mean, it took a kind of wonder strike from Dries Mertens to open the game up.
Great goal, wasn't it?
England have had no... I mean, obviously, they got the set-piece goal very early on, but England have pretty much walked through them at times, so they can feel confident. This England attack, I think, can stand up there with pretty much any attack in the competition. When you've got Kane, you've got Vardy, I mean, you've always got a chance.
Yeah.
Also just seeing an interesting...
So there it is, half-time. England 5, Panama 0. John Stones with 2, Harry Kane with 2, and Jesse Lingard. Everything is going right. It's usually the opposite with England. You find they're quite unlucky or the first game, but everything, all the decisions have gone their way. They've got lucky at times, they've been good at times, they've been world-class. It's the perfect performance, isn't it? No injuries, everything's gone right.
Yeah, spot on. That's my only fear now, you know. I think the Panama team have put in some naughty tackles already, and we're humiliating them. It's 5-0, and I'm sure if the boys go out there and get another 1 or 2, then some of the heads of the Panama players might go and they might start putting some more late challenges in. So I think England just need to be very careful and manage this game in the right way, because the last thing you want to do is pick up a silly injury in this game.
Pato, who have you been most impressed with first half? England players?
Oh, I don't know. I think Lingard's been great, actually. The way he drifts out of that midfield role, and you know, the fact that his goal was very well taken, but also that he was the one who created it. He was the one who made the space. Lingard's really grown so much this season. So yeah, he's had a really good first half. Raheem Sterling been a little bit quiet.
Social corner. Presumably, this is just full of delight and happiness for England fans.
I'm just seeing a reasonably tongue-in-cheek tweet from Matt Lettice saying he can't believe Belgium took so long to break this team down. They must be so average.
Great stuff. Surely England fans are very happy, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, I put out a poll asking is football coming home, and it's at 70% it is coming home.
70%? Wow. Any questions?
Yeah, well, one question from Sonny is, which team are under the most pressure at the tournament, do you think?
Ooh. See, I think Argentina now are under an incredible amount of pressure, and Messi as well. And you look at Messi's body language, and there just seems to be so much expectation on him. Would you agree with that? Are there any other countries you think?
I think if you took Toni Kroos's goal away yesterday, then the Germans... I mean, the Germans in that game were under massive pressure. But yeah, going into the final round of games, you'd probably have to say it's Argentina, because, I mean, the whole world is looking at Messi to perform, and the manager and the team to give him the freedom and the ability to perform, and he's not done that in the opening 2 games, and it's massive for them that they get out of the group. And massive for the World Cup as well, because Messi's one of the best in the world, and you want to see the best players in the latter stages of these competitions.
Pato, for you, teams under the most pressure?
Yeah, certainly Argentina. I mean, Germany are going to have a tough ride as well. But even Brazil, I think, some of these teams are just waiting to catch fire, really. Germany just about scraped through last night, but the questions are exactly the same as they were after the first game. They don't really seem to have a plan when they lose the ball. And weirdly, I saw a lot of criticism for Hummels after the first game and a lot of Boateng after the second game. And I think when that happens, what you're seeing is defenders who are being hung out to dry by their midfield. Toni Kroos is an amazing player, but playing him in a midfield too does leave them really exposed. And Löw has got to change something. Otherwise, when they come up against big teams, they're just going to get destroyed.
Do you not think it's the fullbacks, though?
Well, they got too high, right?
Yeah, I think I mean, Man City play an expansive way of playing, and we speak about the fullbacks going so high, but if one goes high, it's almost as if the other one comes into a midfield position to offer that cover. With the Germans, I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing 2 centre-halves and 2 full-backs, almost the highest up the pitch.
Very high.
So that space, from a midfielder's point of view, it's very difficult to manage that space if the ball breaks down. I just feel like their whole organisation in possession is so wrong. And like you say, hanging out the defenders to dry, I agree, because they look a bit lost at times. You know, they're having this possession-based football, but they don't really know where they're going with it at the moment. It's strange to see that from the Germans. Isn't it?
Yeah, very strange.
You expect them to be quite robotic and methodical.
Never write them off, though.
Yeah, I mean...
Never write them off.
Yeah, I mean, actually, they started the last World Cup a little bit slowly.
Yeah, they did,
Lahm was playing in midfield, and it was only once they were able to move him back into defence, I think once Schweinsteiger came back from injury, that they started to pick up a little bit more. And by the end, they were just rolling. So, yeah, it is interesting, actually, isn't it, that Löw dropped Ozil, he dropped Khedira, faced exactly the same problems. And if there's one positive from that, it's that they got the win, and that now Löw knows that there's a structural issue rather than just a personnel issue. So, I don't know. I wouldn't write the Germans off, but some of these games that they're facing are not easy. You know, Argentina's last game's Nigeria. Yeah. That's a difficult game.
game as well, yeah.
So, I don't know, like, you start to worry about these teams.
Right,
Colombia too.
The one thing we're not worrying about is England, because they won 5-0. We can now cross live to Sam Obaseki, who is in the Panamanian bar in Raleigh. Sam, what have you got for us?
Cheers, Smithy. So it's currently 5-0 right now. I'm in the Panama party. I feel like public enemy number 1. I'm with Danny and Anna. Danny is the one that put this whole event on for everyone, so well done. How are you feeling about the game?
Well, we feel honored to be hosting today's event, and we feel very proud about the Panamanian team. The results have not been what we expected, but we still have another half, and I'm sure that the Panamanian team is going to concentrate and give it its best on the second half. So we'll see. I mean, it's a hard one, but I know they're going to give it their best. As a Panamanian, I'm very honored to be here.
What about you, Anna?
Yeah, I'm just really proud we've made it this far. We're playing with a lot of passion, and we're very happy to be there. So it's a very challenging game. Obviously, England has a lot of experience in football, so we're really proud and honored to be playing alongside them in the field. And you know, we'll see what happens in the second half.
So, Danny, what do you think needs to change for Panama to maybe get a few goals in the second half?
I think they need to focus more, play better as a team. There has to be more synergy in the team all together. And really just concentrate and focus. They've had a difficult first half, so we'll see what happens in the second half.
Cheers, guys. I said 3-0 at halftime. I'm going to say 7-2. 7-2 for the final result. Yeah, they'll get a few goals. Back to you, Siffy.
Thank you.
No problem. There we go. They're in fairly good spirits considering they're 5-0 down, I think. Is that fair to say?
So maybe I don't know, they've seen Gary Neville cook their food today.
Yeah,
so
that's made them happy.
Cheered them up a little bit. But actually, something that's going to make me a little bit sad is Akin Fenwa. We said about him recreating Tim Cahill's goals. I think we can go over to that.
Brilliant.
It's your boy Eddie Akin Fenwa, a.k.a. The Beast, and I'm back here at the Soccer AM car park to recreate that famous goal from Tim Cahill against Holland in the last World Cup. If y'all can't really remember it, the ball came, diag, he ran onto it, smacked the bar in, and then he done his celebration. Can't remember it. Watch now. Smay, you ready? I'm ready. Yeah? All right, put it over, player. You ain't ready. You ain't ready. Put it over a little bit. Even though the technique was alright, I didn't want to say none, but put it over so I ain't breaking my ankle. So, yeah. Oh, that's too hard. Yeah. I'm coming. Oh, he put me on. Oh, he came over from the side. That is over. Oh, let's take a little bit off this. Oh. Not you. I said I'll take some off it. Listen. Oh, there it is. Oh, no. There it is. Oh. No, off the post. No. No. There it is. Oh. Oh. No. Jeez. No, bang. I had to put a remix on that. I'll tell you. Bang! That's a remix of Celebration as well. Ha ha! All right, listen, as my boy JB would say, he would say, I'll take top bins, but it's not the recreation. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take a couple more, I'm going to try and recreate it. All right, let's go. There it is. There it is. There it is. That, listen. Hey, listen, get me on the phone call. Bap. No, wait. Bap. No, wait, one more. Bap.
Decent checkers again from Bayo, Ryan. Impressed?
Yeah, impressed. You know, Bayo, I'm quite close with Bayo because we've got the same agent. And, yeah, we're good mates in that. He's a player that's... I mean, all you think about is the sheer size of him. But
yeah, and he hates that as well, that people just think about that. Technically, he's very good as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's scored almost 200 career goals.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't do that unless you're a very good striker. So he's just a good... He's a good
and he's
guy,
a great personality as well. Top bin, and then the next one as well, off the bar and in. Brilliantly, there's a great price boost from Sky Bet. England to win 7-0, which could happen. 5-0 up already, don't forget. England to win 7-0 is a price boost from 7-2 to 9-2. Odds subject to change. See skybet.com for the latest. Don't forget, you have to be 18 plus. Full terms and conditions apply. Second half. How will England approach second half, Ryan? Are they just going to try and score loads of goals, or are they going to sit back?
From seeing that game, the last 20 minutes in that game, they were still on the front foot looking to score. And I'm sure if you're an attacker in this second half, you're going to want to bag some goals. You know, it's a great opportunity to score at the World Cup. You know, from Harry's point of view, he'll want to get a hat-trick. From Sterling's, he'll want to get on the score sheet. And I'm sure they'll go out there at least until 70 minutes anyway and really attack this second half.
A lot of the pundits singling out Trippier. You quite rightly said had a very good first half, Pato.
Yeah, it really looks like he did. I mean, having that outlet. But also, he's improved defensively. I don't know if maybe it's the fact that he's got Kyle Walker there covering that makes him more confident in getting forward. But under Pochettino, I mean, his defensive side of his game has really come forward as well. I mean, obviously, they're going to want to keep this clean sheet. But who knows, maybe they even would like to try a formation change in the second half in case they'd need that later in the tournament. It might be a good opportunity to trial some different things with kind of no risk of it actually going wrong for them.
Now, if you thought that we went crazy in this studio when the goals went in, you've got another thing coming because we've got some scenes of Newcastle, Sheffield and Norfolk. This is how they reacted. This is Newcastle. They love their football up in Newcastle, Ryan, don't they?
Yeah, they're passionate fans, them lot.
Look at that, great scenes up in Newcastle. Sun is shining as well. This is Sheffield. Look how packed this bar is in Sheffield. Look at this. Look at the beer again, Ryan. Going absolutely everywhere. They'll be queuing at the bar. And even in Norfolk. Great to see. Flags everywhere. Beer everywhere. I think people are genuinely starting to believe... The problem with this result now, Ryan, is that people will genuinely start to believe England can go all the way. Does that put the pressure on that England haven't had? Does it suddenly... They go into Belgium thinking...
I think the problem with this result, it probably raised the expectations of the country. You know, of course, we have to believe. The players have to believe. Everyone has to believe. If you're going to win it and want to achieve things, you have to believe. But I think the most positive thing about going into this tournament was the expectation levels of the whole country. I mean, after these two games, they're going to be a lot different, aren't they?
They are. We haven't spoken about Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Obviously, he was the one change. Pato, what did you make of Ruben's first half?
I thought it was relatively quiet. I mean, he showed some good pace and drifted into the wide areas quite nicely. Yeah, I mean, in a way, they haven't been tested defensively, which is where you'd expect him to maybe have some deficiencies. But yeah, I don't know. I imagine he'll grow into the game as it goes on. But it might just need... This is just a nice 90 minutes for him, really, isn't it? To kind of like nice figure out how he works with these teammates.
Pete, social media, got any questions for us?
Yeah,
what are people talking about?
I've got a question here from Jess, and she's asked, will England's youth and inexperience see them struggle in the knockout stages of the tournament?
I don't think it will, do you?
I think it remains to be seen, but from my point of view, it shouldn't. I think the only issue I have is game management at times. You know, I think if you're 1-0 up, I just want to see an England side manage the game better than what we've done in the past. You know, I look at the Spanish and, I mean, Mexico, Uruguay. They manage the game in a different way. It's the way they've been brought up, a culture of getting the job done. And hopefully, if this England team have a tight game, they can manage it and see it out. But I don't think it should affect them. You know, we're energetic,
Yeah.
we know what we're doing, we're organised. You can see that from the first 2 games.
Here come the players for the second half. The players are out. A Sterling goal would be nice second half, Pat, as you said earlier, wouldn't it?
Yeah, very much.
Is that the only other thing that to make England's day perfect, do you think?
Clean sheet, Sterling goal, that'd be great.
A Rashford goal and a Vardy goal off the bench as well, maybe, like 8-0 victory.
I mean, do you just want everyone to score?
Everyone to score. Trippier to get a goal, maybe.
Yeah,
go on, go on.
It was interesting the way that people kind of combine those ideas of youth and inexperience, because they're not the same thing. You know, you said before, Dele Alli has got 200 senior career appearances. He's not an inexperienced player. Harry Kane is not an inexperienced player. So these guys do know how to handle big games. The fact they're young shouldn't count against them. If anything, it should make England excited about the World Cup after this one.
Yeah, I can't wait for that World Cup already. We have got some odds, thanks to our mates at Sky Bet for the Golden Boot. Here they are. Harry Kane, 5-2. There he is, Ryan. Cristiano Ronaldo, of course. Whenever you see any Golden Boot odd for any tournament Ronaldo's playing, and he's always up there. He is 3-1. Romelu Lukaku, 4-1. John Stones, 250-1. That is with our mates at Sky Bet. Don't forget, full terms and conditions apply. You have to be 18+. You wouldn't bet against Harry Kane, would you, now? He's for the Golden Boot.
Though that just then, that was Andario Gomez, who's the coach of Panama, talking to Southgate, and it did look a little bit like he was saying, 5 is enough. Don't humiliate us. I don't know. I mean, is there a little bit of a feeling like that? If you're really battering a team, do you think, let's not actually try and humiliate these guys?
Yeah, I think from a fellow professional point of view, it depends in the manner in which you approach the game. You know, this England team, they look honest, they're not taking liberties, they're approaching it in the right way. If they were trying to showboat and really humiliate them, that's when it can get a bit nasty. But listen, I don't have any worries about this England team taking it across that line. No. From their point of view, they'll want to go and score goals. I mean, they're at the World Cup. It's an opportunity to fill your boots and score some goals.
No changes at all for England, by the looks of it. Same team that started the game. Do you expect some subs to come soon, Pato? Do you think England will start resting some of their big guns?
I don't know if they will. I don't know if Kane will want to come off. Maybe if he completes his hat-trick before 60, 70 minutes, you might see him come off. But you were saying before it, we were talking about Danny Rose, and you were saying that he's not match fit, or at least he's played relatively little down the stretch. So maybe that would be a good substitute to make in this game, just to make sure he's sharp before you go into Belgium, before you go into the round of 16. Those are the kind of subs you can afford to make in this situation, right?
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned there that Harry Kane won't want to come off. Will Southgate worry about that because his main concern is just keeping players injury-free, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it all depends on the way in which Panama approach this game. You know, if he sees some late challenges and some nasty ones, then
it's a lovely ball.
He'll probably look at protecting his players. But if that's not the case, then listen, I know 100% Harry will not want to be coming off after 70 minutes.
So you guys, as like the England fans on the couch, what are you kind of hoping for at the World Cup, and what are you expecting? Like, where would you want England
what is
to get
success,
to,
is you're asking?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think the benchmark has to be quarter-finals and further. I think there is an assumption within the country that if England don't get past the quarter-final stage, it's not failure, but it's sort of disappointment, or it's minimum expectation. I always think is quarter-finals, and I think that's very realistic, having seen his performance as well.
I do too.
I also look at the competition, and you think of the great sort of Brazil teams in the past, French teams. There isn't a team in this tournament that I think, wow, we have to avoid that team. I think England on their day, I'd quite fancy them against Argentina, against France, against Germany. I don't know what you think, Ryan, but I don't think there's anyone that really scares me out there in the World Cup.
No, I mean, no one stands out. I think England probably looked one of the most convincing teams in terms of their philosophy and how they approach the game. The Spanish, obviously, they know what they're all about. They have a way of playing. Even the Portuguese as well, they're pretty set in their ways, and obviously they're European champions, and they're going to go into it full of confidence. But listen, I think the other big boys, the Brazils and the latter stages of the competition, they'll probably grow into it.
Here we go, chance for Sterling. This is Sterling's chance. Oh,
great tackle from the keeper.
Good tackle from the keeper there, Pato. Wins the ball, doesn't he?
Really
Lovely pass from Kane through. Nice link-up play there from Kane and Sterling.
It'd be interesting, actually, if England got Argentina, Germany, Portugal. It might be a chance to exercise some of those demons that they've had over the last kind of 20 years. But you're looking at a situation at the moment where you might see, you know, 4 or 5 of the teams who are rated as having the best chance of winning the World Cup being on the same side of the draw because they've underperformed. So, arguably, England have actually got one of the toughest teams they could possibly play in the group stage coming up. And so it would be nice that then they can't play them again for a little while.
Well, that was famous in Euro 2016, wasn't it? Portugal famously were in the side of the group
that
avoided all the other so-called big teams. England were on the other side, France on the other side, Germany on the other side. And Portugal had quite a nice route, didn't they, to the final?
They didn't win a group stage game, did
Portugal
they?
came third, so in the old system would not have qualified from the group stage. They won 2 games in extra time, 1 in a penalty shootout, and were quite lucky in the final as well. But I mean, their fans won't care because they won the tournament. But you can get lucky with the draw. It was interesting yesterday. We were talking about who England would play if they win the group. But actually, you might find that coming runner-up, you get better opponents because so many big teams are struggling to win the group.
Yeah.
Oh.
I might be a little harsh to Kyle Walker, but I feel like he's still adapting to this right-sided centre-back role. I don't know.
Well, it's not natural to him. That doesn't come natural, you know. I think he's not a footballer that the first thing that springs to mind is you don't think of his football ability coming out from the back. What you think of is pace, power, driving up and down that wing, being an attacking fullback, and it will take him time for sure. I still think Kyle's best position is right back in a 4, but it's just a level of quality that Kieran Trippier is showing that you have to fit Trippier into this team because he's affecting games, isn't he?
Well, it's interesting we talk about Kyle Walker playing in that new role. This is what he had to say about that the other day.
It's not that I never felt uncomfortable about it. It was different. But as I said before, it's new tools to my toolbox, you know, that I feel that will improve my game. It's a little bit different. I don't get forward as much, which I think is a big part of my game. But I can use my pace in different areas to, cover people and stuff like that. So, as I say, as long as I'm on the pitch and as long as England as a nation is doing well, then I'm completely fine with it. It's a new position for me. Of course, I'm still learning. I've got great people next to me, especially the gaffer as well, who's coaching me and making sure I know key tips in certain areas that I need to do when I'm in that position.
That's really good.
Excuse us, just finishing a bit of pizza there. Ryan, another one of your former teammates, so many of your former teammates in this England squad, of course. It's interesting what Kyle said there. Again, it's a hard question to answer. He'll obviously go where the manager wants him to play. But in your opinion, having played with him, would he have preferred to be in that wing-back position? Is that where you think his best role is?
Yeah, it's difficult because this formation, if you're a wing-back, then you've almost got to act as a winger. And I don't feel like a winger would suit Kyle. I feel like in a 4-4-2 where he's got a winger in front of him and he can overlap and there's that space there for him, I think that's when Kyle's best.
Yeah.
I would probably say that this position that he's playing now in this formation probably suits him more.
Okay.
Because there is a bit more space for him to run into. I think a lot of the time when Trippier's getting the ball, he's out there and you look at him there, he's got a player there, and it's just about getting half a yard and getting the ball in the box. But this formation, he's learning, he's played that position with Pep quite a bit, so he's definitely improving as a player for sure.
It's interesting that both were at Spurs for quite a bit of time as well, and that Poch never experimented with both Walker and Trippier. It's only started in the England squad. Are you surprised at that, or do you think that Spurs, the formation that Spurs had at the time, they didn't need to?
I think the personnel as well. I think you look at that Tottenham back 3, back 5 or whatever, you think of Toby Alderweireld, Jan Vertonghen. I mean, Eric Dyer was playing in that central role.
Now you've got Sanchez as well,
You have to play to your strengths sometimes, and the personnel, and that Tottenham team, when they played 5 at the back, or 3, if you say, they had 3 top centre-halves. And then you had Danny and Kyle that were bumming down the wing. So I think it just depends on the personnel and formation, obviously.
Do you see differences in Ali and Kane's game when they're playing for England to how they play for Spurs? I mean, obviously the press isn't as intense, I guess, but do you see them picking up different space, having different roles?
No, I think Harry's the main man at England, he's the main man at Tottenham as well, and I feel like there's a massive responsibility on Dele's shoulders when he plays for England as well. Yeah. He plays in a similar role. He has the freedom to run forward like he does at Spurs. I know you speak about the intensity of the press. It isn't as high, but I think it's very difficult at international level to maintain that level of press for 90 minutes.
The coaching, I guess, as well,
the Premier League is, every team's so intense. They have a way of playing, but international games are a lot different. So I feel like the freedom's definitely there for them to go and enjoy it.
Do you expect that Ali will come straight back in as soon as if he's fit for the final game?
I believe so. I think England's best team was the team that started the first game. I mean, on current form, and
that's the exact team that you'd have started with, was it? The same 11?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, to be fair, I would have made the argument before the tournament had started of playing Eric Dyer instead of John Stones in that position, because I just think in certain games when teams sit off, you have that flexibility to switch it to a 4 at the back and Eric to sort of jump into midfield. But listen, John Stones has done very well, and
so you've changed your mind slightly, having seen John Stones now.
I just think this England team currently, they all look like they know what they're doing together. You know, I think the relationship between Kyle Walker and John Stones is massive. They play with each other at club level. Obviously, he's also got that relationship with Trippier, who they played with each other for a long time. So, I mean, it just works at the moment. It looks very good. The balance between attack and defence and trying to play out and forward runs, it just looks very balanced at the moment.
Would you have gone with the same 11, Pato, if you were in Southgate's shoes? Any changes you'd have made?
I'm a really big Danny Rose fan, so if Danny Rose is fit, I play Danny Rose. But at the same time, I'm not kind of in the camp, so maybe he's saying I'm not quite there yet, fitness-wise. Who knows? But again, for similar reasons, you know, because of his relationship with the guys around him, because of his relationship with Dele Alli. And I just think having a natural left footer on that wing is a bit more of a weapon. But if you're attacking outlets, the right, then it's no real issue. Like, the thing is about this England team, it's kind of strange in a way, I guess, to play with 3 at the back, given that I'd say the centre-backs are maybe the weakest area of the squad. But Southgate is just... Even in the first game, you were saying earlier, I remember that
I think they're probably the weakest defenders, but you think of Harry Maguire's strength, John Stones' strength, and that is being on the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
I think what this 3 at the back does is probably give them less of a responsibility.
Protects them a little bit.
Defend 1v1.
Yeah, that's true. But it's interesting that they've... like, Southgate is so clear on his plan, because you were saying earlier that in the Tunisia game you were impressed by the fact that the players kept going, but it was also kind of impressive that Southgate didn't do what a lot of managers do when they need a goal and just start chucking on strikers. He trusted the system and said, right, we're going to put Rashford in for Sterling, we'll put in Loftus-Cheek, and kept the system playing the same way. You know, and trusted they'd make the breakthrough. Like, that's quite hard.
Southgate
given the way some managers have tinkered in this tournament.
Yeah, but in all of his press conferences, he keeps saying, believe in the philosophy, believe, you know, don't change. It's almost like he's saying, like you're saying, let's not just chuck a striker on and panic. You know, trust the system. They've obviously watched this in training. And he does have a very calm head on his shoulders. I don't think he is the one to just chuck loads of strikers on. It was like, do you remember England-Iceland in the Euros? When England went behind, it was like, we sort of brought Rashford on, I think then Vardy, and it was just like, we just chucked strikers on the whole time. And it was so disjointed, no one really knew what was going on. Obviously, at that point, it was panic stations because we were going out. But I don't feel that you get that with Southgate. I think I think he'll be very calm up until the latter stages.
Yeah, and I think you need that. I mean, that's something, especially that might be an advantage with younger players, right? That you've got a guy who can kind of explain his system to them and is going to be rational about it, is going to take their opinions into consideration. You know, you've got actually a lot of these kind of cult leader managers in the Premier League at the moment. You know, you look at Pochettino and Klopp, the way that people really just buy in and would just kind of die for them, it seems. And it's nice that Southgate, I think, shows his faith in the players and gets them involved in the process. It means that they have a stake in it beyond just kind of turning up and, you know, wearing the shirt. I feel like, particularly the way he handled the Danny Rose thing before the tournament, you know, where Danny Rose was talking about his struggles and talking about his worry for his family going into the World Cup, and Gareth Southgate didn't just kind of act like he'd never heard this before. It sounded like they talked about it and they had a plan for how they're going to support their players in the World Cup. I think that's really important with young men to kind of protect them.
It's a good point, actually. You know a lot of the players, Ryan. Do they have a great respect for Southgate? He seems like a manager that they can often go to. And every England player that I've heard speak says that they can relate to him because he's also been to a tournament and done that before. That's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's important that someone's had that experience of being in their shoes. Obviously, Gareth's got that. But not only that, I think what he's done is created an environment where everyone wants to be, you know. I think at times we've seen past players that are retired now come out and say they didn't enjoy going away with England. They hated tournaments because they're away from their family and their friends, and I'm not getting that vibe from the players that I'm speaking to. You know, they're enjoying it, they're loving it. I mean, they're at a World Cup, they should be enjoying it. I think that pressure isn't on them at the moment, and that's full credit to the manager. You know, I think it does help that we've not got a team full of world-class players. You know, we've got one, for me, stand-up player, like I say, in Harry, but what he's got a squad of players that are all together and they're unified. You know, I think in the past we've had individuals and probably little cliques within the squad, but there definitely don't seem to be that at the moment. And you can see on the pitch the togetherness. It's really good to see.
There does seem to be. I mean, we never know because we're not in the England squad, of course, but there does seem to be, just from pictures and videos and social media and everything within the camp, an amazing togetherness and sort of team spirit that I've not seen before, or not seen at that level in England squad. I mean, even you see pics from training, you see them in the pools together, you know, you see them acting as photographers. There just seems to be like there is an incredible togetherness in this England squad.
Yeah, you need that. I mean, if you want to be successful, you need that. The thing that it's annoyed me so much in the past watching World Cups and that is when the Mexicans score, the whole bench get up, the subs get up, they celebrate, and you can tell that they want the team to do well. I think sometimes in the past we've seen England score and no reaction from the people sitting on the bench, but thankfully this time it seems as though everyone just wants the team to do well, whether you're sitting on the bench, whether you're in the team, whether you're in the stands, it doesn't matter. You want the team to do well, and listen, you need that to be successful.
So it's 5-0, but it's a bit of a slower start to the second half. We have played 15 minutes, half an hour left to play, and it's still 5-0, so no goals in the second half. England just sort of a bit of a slower tempo, Pato, to this game, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean,
half.
It's good for England to learn how to defend with the ball, right? Because we're seeing teams defend in different ways in this tournament. You know, Portugal, Mexico, they defend without the ball. They just kind of sit deep, bunker and counter-attack. But sides like Germany and Spain want to defend by just holding possession and denying it to you. So it's good for England to be able to do this, just take the sting out of the game, pass it around, and if an opportunity presents itself, that's good too.
Yeah. A couple of subs, Ryan, look like Fabian Delph and Jamie Vardy. So who do you think will be coming off for those two?
It's difficult.
Not going to bring Kane off, is he? Surely on a hat-trick.
I'd be surprised, but then if he does, you can't blame him. You know, you've got to manage him for the rest of the tournament. In terms of Fabian Delph or Harry Kane.
It's a goal! And that's,
Harry Kane.
Is that Harry Kane's goal?
Harry Kane hat-trick.
I think Loftus-Cheek is just... We're just talking about the dilemma that Southgate's got.
He might bring him off
He might bring him off now, yeah. Does he bring him off? This is now genius management if he brings him off now. Ruben Loftus-Cheek with a strike. It's just hit off Kane. When your luck's in, it's in, Ryan, isn't it? I mean, everything Kane touches, he didn't even know about that one by the looks of it.
It's come off his heel, hasn't it?
And as it stands, he's the top scorer at the World Cup. He's got 5 now.
Yeah. I think he's offside.
He might be offside, though. So, interestingly, it took a wicked ricochet off Harry Kane. Didn't know anything about it. But it goes in the back of his net. It is Harry Kane's goal, but they are going to VAR, it looks like. I think they've given it, Ryan.
Okay.
Wow.
Every goal is seen by VAR, of course. The referee looks like... Does he look confused there, or does he... I mean, what are they doing?
Just waiting, maybe, to have the feedback.
The goal stands.
Yeah, it does look like the back of...
Does it like... I mean, that's very tight, isn't it?
That's rough.
That is tight, yeah.
So Harry Kane to confirm 2 penalties and a deflection. He is applauded off. It is 6-0 England. Harry Kane has scored 3 goals, which obviously takes him to the top of the Golden Boot standings with 5 goals after 2 games. So he has now been subbed, as we expect, for Jamie Vardy. Buzzing. 2 penalties, deflected goal. Well, it doesn't matter how you get the hat-trick. I mean, he scored better hat-tricks, doesn't he? A deflected goal and 2 penalties.
It really doesn't matter. In the record books, it's not going to say how we scored them. I'm buzzing for him. Absolutely buzzing.
You are. Amazing timing as well, because you saw Vardy warming up, Pato. And you know that Kane would have been fuming if he'd have come on and he scores that.
But I mean,
worth pointing out Lingard as well. Another good game from Jesse Lingard as well.
Well, it's good to see. It would be good to see Fabian Delph in that dynamic midfield role, which he is capable of playing. I mean, I'm quite a fan of Fabian Delph actually, but yeah, Kane's now got enough goals. He would have been top scorer at the 2014 World Cup with 5, joint top scorer at least. So pretty exciting.
It's been a long time coming as well. The last World Cup. Do you know the last hat trick from an England player in a World Cup?
Are you going to say, is it Hurst? It's not Hurst.
It's not Hurst.
Lineker?
Gary Lineker, yeah, 1986.
Oh, in 86, yeah.
That is the last time a hat-trick was scored.
But he got a brace in the game after that, I think, as well. So if Harry Kane can follow that up with 2 against Belgium.
So we're saying slow start. England have scored 6-0. Do you expect any other... I mean, there's another change. Do you expect them to rest anyone else?
Probably expect him to utilise that substitution. I don't know whether he'll maybe bring Jordan Henderson off and protect him.
Yeah, maybe bring Dyer on.
Possibly, yeah.
That'd be good.
So it has been a perfect day for us, but unfortunately it's not been a very good day for the fans from Panama in the Riley's Bar. Here they are. Look at Edwin van der Sar, his checkered shirt, devastated.
Livid.
Apologies to them for cutting to them 6 times during the day, just to show their dejection. And what I love about this ride is every time we cut to them, there's another empty chair. They're sort of slowly going. By the time it gets to 7-0, I think there'll be about 3 people there. Ooh. But once again, worth reminding you, 250 people from Panama in this country, 40 of them are in Riley's, so credit to them. Great effort from going down to support their team. Shame the team hasn't been up to much.
Probably could have done with them out there today.
They could have done, yeah.
So I think at this point, I mean, England are probably going to get out of the group, is my take. But who would you want to play out of the teams in Group H? Senegal,
it's a good
Colombia,
question, that, isn't it?
Japan and Poland. Because Senegal look like the class of that group at the moment. They look fantastic.
And can I just say, one of my favourite teams in it for their camaraderie, the dancing, their togetherness. Absolutely love them. I think they've been a breath of fresh air for this tournament. In terms of who we play, I quite fancy this England team to beat any of those teams, would you not?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't fear any.
No.
No. I think on current form, I think teams will be fearing England.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's great.
That's a lovely pass. That's the first real chance for Panama, Pato.
Ooh. Really good football.
Was that a bit of a worry there, how they sort of got through?
It's hard to assess a team's concentration at 6-0 up. But I mean, I'm sure Southgate would have been livid, right, if this had gone in.
I think it is concentration.
Yeah.
You know, when you're 6-0 up, you can switch off sometimes, and I think that there was a case of that.
Good from Pickford, though. Awake. Yeah. You know, stayed on his feet.
It's a good point, actually. Obviously, our most inexperienced area is the goalkeepers. So few caps between them that... And he hasn't really been tested, Pickford, at all in either game. The Belgian game will be a big test for him, won't it?
Yeah, I'm sure he'll have a lot to do in that game. He'll have to pull off saves, and that's what you want to see, you know. We'll already be qualified from the group, so from his point of view, there'll be no pressure. No inexperience, so what? I mean, he seems a confident lad, and that the whole stage doesn't seem to be affecting him so far.
Yeah, it's very comfortable for England now, 6-0. Panama just knocking the ball about. England seem happy to let them do that. So let's work out the goal difference, Pato. Are you going to give us an update of Group G, where it stands? Because there's been a lot of goals scored by Belgium and England. It could come down to goal difference.
Well, that brings England's goal difference to +7.
Yes.
Right? And Belgium are on... What did they win their game? 5-2. So they're on... OK, so they're on +6.
So that's a huge... That deflected goal for Harry Kane is a huge goal. It changes everything, actually.
Yeah, it does.
Because it means now that a draw against Belgium would put England through.
I mean, well, it's interesting the way that it's going to be decided if it gets closer, right? So Portugal and Spain. I think Portugal are below Spain at the moment because Adrian Silva got a booking.
Exactly that.
It's ridiculous.
Because it goes down, if the goals are equal, then it goes goals scored, then it goes to the bookings, as you quite rightly said. But presuming that England draw to Belgium, it then goes to goal difference, and it will come down to that, who tops the group.
Obviously, so it does actually matter that didn't go in then.
Obviously, as things stand, England and Belgium will both qualify, but it makes a huge difference where they finish. So goal difference could play a big part. Unless, of course, Panama suddenly find their form, which, yeah, I mean, they need 7, but...
Who's surprised you in a good way at this World Cup? Because
Russia.
Russia
have massively surprised me. I mean, there was no hope going into that. I mean, they haven't played the best teams, but...
Lowest ranked team going into the tournament as well.
On 5-0 opening game.
Mexico for me.
Yeah.
Just the manner in which they've gone about it, you know, they're exciting to watch on the counter, they've got pace, and I've enjoyed both the matches that I've seen them play.
Yeah. We're talking about how good the England camp is and the togetherness, now very relaxed it is. This is Jamie Vardy talking about this yesterday.
Everyone's relaxed. Everyone's in a good place. We know that obviously when it comes to training in the games, it's 110% commitment. But we know that we can be chilling out and having a bit of fun. Every bit of free time as well. We're always doing something together. whether it be half the lads watching Love Island, which I can't stand, so leave them to it, but the rest of the lads who don't want to watch it, there's always something going off, and it is really everyone together, and I think that attitude and atmosphere is vital, because it means that you want to go that extra yard for your teammates on the pitch as well.
So the big question from that is about England. Love Island, are you a fan of that, Ryan? Do you watch it? You do, don't you?
No, do you know what? I'll be honest, this one's done my nut in.
That's it?
It really, the previous two...
Sounds like Danny Dye's daughter there, who's also in Love Island right now, apparently.
The previous two I enjoyed, but I've just had enough of it now.
Why's that? People in it?
It's just a bit boring.
Right.
You know, I just feel like it's repetitive, it's the same thing, and I'd rather be doing something else in my time, to be honest, at the moment.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because a lot of the players do watch it, so... But what does Vardy do when all the players are watching Love Island?
I suppose when you're at a World Cup like this, you probably have to watch it and make the most of them kind of shows. But from my point of view, I'm not a fan. My missus would argue that. She has it on every night.
That's it, that's mine. Of course, they did request Sky Sports News as well, so they could carry on with it. Sky Sports News and Love Island. Substitution here, Danny Rose coming on. Instantly for Kieran Trippier. I think we probably expected Ashley Young to go, but he's brought Rose on for Trippier. What do you make of that sub, Ryan?
Probably, I think he's probably just protecting Trips, because Trippier's probably been one of the better players in the opening 2 games, so bringing him off along with Harry and Jesse as well, he's probably just managing them and protecting them. It's crazy, isn't it, going into this tournament? That shows now that Kieran Trippier now is probably one of Southgate's most important players. If we're thinking he didn't look like he had an injury there, he's bringing him off to protect him, that now he's one of Southgate's most important players for the World Cup. It's crazy. It really is. It just goes to show that football can change so quickly, you know. Full credit to Kieran. He's done extremely well. He's created chances, and he's well and truly took his chance. Obviously, I feel like the change in formation has helped him. Yeah. Because I think if England play 4 at the back, then Kyle would probably pip him to that position. Right. Okay. But listen, this formation it suits Kieran to a T, because it gives him the freedom to get forward and create chances. Pete, apparently you're full of information for us.
Yes. Well, Twitter is blowing up with Photoshop masters here. We've got a tweet of Harry Kane expertly photoshopped as the next Ballon d'Or winner. Obviously, there he is. People are very excited. He is amongst the goals at the World Cup.
I know we laugh about that as a meme, Ryan, but do you think Harry Kane will one day win the Ballon d'Or? Yeah, for sure. Definitely? Yeah, for sure. I think, listen, Ronaldo and Messi, they're aging. I don't see any signs of Ronaldo letting up just yet, but Harry's got the years. He's got the years in his legs. He's improving every year. His stats, his goal-scoring record is showing that. I feel like Neymar's probably in that bracket with him. But yeah, I fully expect Harry to win the Ballon d'Or. Do you think he'll win it at Tottenham? Yeah, I mean, if Tottenham win trophies, then I think he will. I feel like to win the Ballon d'Or, you have to win trophies, to be honest. And we've seen in the last sort of 10 years, whoever's winning the most trophies and scoring in the biggest games, they seem to be the one getting it. That's why Ronaldo has won it, I think, is it 5 times? It's been Ronaldo and Messi every year since as long as I can remember, really. So where do you rate Harry Kane now? All-time players, you said obviously Ronaldo and Messi in their own bracket. Where do you put Harry Kane? Well, for me, if I was a manager and someone said, I want a number 9, pick anyone in the world, I would pick Harry. Would you? Yeah, I feel like Harry's the most complete and out number 9 in the world at the moment. His goal-scoring record is proving that. Listen, you could probably argue Ronaldo because he's transformed into a number 9. I still believe Ronaldo's the best in the world, the best player in the world. But in terms of an out-and-out striker, I would have Harry. Another chance for England there.
Another great header from Maguire to set it up as well.
Talk us through this one, Pato.
Oh, it comes over to the back post, and Maguire, look at that. Look at the strength on that.
Maguire is brilliant in the air, isn't he?
Good technique from him.
Do you know what? He had a similar technique in the first game, didn't he? Whoa. Where the ball came out of him. I mean, that would have been some goal. Would that have been goal of the game? Ryan, it's hard to keep up with all of them, isn't it? From a technical point of view, yeah, definitely. This is what I love about this as well. We're 6-0 up, and Jordan Henderson looks absolutely fuming that hasn't gone in the back of there. That is absolutely brilliant to see. Sorry, Pete. Back to you. anything else from Social Corner?
Just going back to Harry Kane, I put up a tweet about 10 minutes ago, about 10 minutes ago, about who's going to win the Golden Boot between Kane, Ronaldo and Lukaku, and Kane is running away with it.
Is he?
54% say Harry Kane, 26% say Ronaldo, and 20% say Romelu Lukaku.
Wow.
No outside contenders.
No outside?
Nobody has commented below.
Do you think Mbappe or Griezmann, some of the French lads
somebody
might?
is saying John Stones.
John Stones.
Outside chance.
It's been a slow start from the French.
Hasn't it?
When
Yeah.
you compare them to the teams. See, this is what I was thinking before with Senegal. Like, I compare Senegal are kind of the polar opposite of France. Well, actually, no. I mean, there's plenty of talent in Senegal, but they've just got a plan and they run it relentlessly. You know, they've got just a gay in midfield who's just a really intelligent, mobile ball winner. And then they've got these fantastic interchanging fast forwards, you know, in Mane, Sarr, Niang. I actually think that they're probably England's biggest threat in the next round. Though Colombia are dangerous, but with James Rodriguez not entirely fit...
Oh
my goodness.
Bit of a wobble there at the back.
I kind of think that Senegal are the ones you'd be scared of.
You think?
Yeah. You don't fear them?
No, I think that when the question was put, who do we want to avoid? I just think looking at the way England are playing, I think we're fortunate that the Group H and the Group G, I don't think there's any team that England should fear of the four. I think there's tougher teams we could have played in the second round.
Who do you think it will be? Do you think England will win this group? Oh, look at him.
Good question, that. Good question.
He wants to say yes.
Do I think England win the group? I'm going to say yes, Pato. Yeah, I do.
They're going to win the group.
I have to be honest, going into this game, having seen Belgium yesterday, I was saying to you, Ryan, before, Belgium, for me, have been the team that impressed me the most of any team in the tournament. And I thought that they would probably be favourites to win the group. Having seen England's performance here, I sort of fancy England now.
Well, especially with Hazard, Lukaku potentially out. Mertens, I think, was a bit of a doubt
as well. He was. Lukaku's a serious doubt as well. Jordan Pickford getting a bit lucky there.
It's really the defence for Belgium that's the worry, right?
Yeah.
You know, you look around it and you think, like,
you've got Boyata as that central defender of that three, haven't you? And
chance for it's a big chance for Panama, and it's fallen to Roman Torres, their hero, the man that got them here.
The unit.
Should he have scored? Probably should have scored this. It's a set piece. Ball's whipped in.
4 guys in the box.
And it's a big chance.
Do better than that. That's a nice routine, though. Sorry, you were saying Boyata in the middle.
Yeah, I feel like he could be the weak point for them because I don't believe he's a real top defender. I think in the Euros they had was it that Dernier?
Jason Dernier.
And I feel like he let them down massively as well.
But obviously, Company's sort of injured still, isn't he? They've got the issue with him.
He's 32 now.
Yeah. I think the weakness for Belgium is definitely their defence. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you've also got Alderweireld and Jan, who are arguably.
This is where it's strange. It's not. It's their weakest area, but they've still got strengths everywhere.
But as we see with Germany, you know, you can have great centre-backs, but they're not protected. Yeah. You know, so they're playing Yannick Carrasco as a left wing-back, which is, you know, he's a great player, but he's certainly not a wing-back.
No,
and you think, I don't know, that seems to me to be a bit foolhardy from Martinez.
Pato, obviously Panama nearly had something to celebrate. We can cut live now to the bar in Panama. This is how they reacted. Oh, look! So sorry. Oh, they look so sad. Look at Edwin. Absolutely fume boat.
Livid. Absolutely livid.
They want the goal so bad. I do feel for them.
Sam at the back wearing his England shirt.
Not only, there's Sam at the back wearing his England shirt.
Aggressive move.
Not only they're losing 6-0, but we are filming them, reacting to them losing 6-0. So it couldn't really get much worse.
Oh,
another chance. Oh, they've scored. Wow, Panama have just scored. 6-1.
That's a hell of a finish.
This is a great goal.
See, this is switching off, though, right?
Is this switching off, Ryan? It's a good goal, isn't it?
Lapse in concentration. Listen, don't get me wrong. The ball and the finish is absolutely top quality, to be fair. But England will be gutted, absolutely gutted to concede from a set play there.
So here it is. It is.
That's a high
ball whipped in.
Oh, dearie me.
And it's not offside, it's clearly onside. Oh, it's a lovely finish.
Yeah. The line was perfect. It was
Ballaway with the finish.
It was Maguire
Pickford,
and
no chance.
Just went back far too early and they allowed the other players to be onside.
And of course...
that's an outrageous finish.
You see how crazy the fans went because it is their first ever World Cup goal.
Oh, wow.
Look at them.
Oh,
good for them.
he said, not at all bitterly.
Yeah. Nice to see them. It is their first World Cup. It's a big moment for those in the stadium to say they've been there. And this is how the bar reacted. Look, there they go. They look at them.
Loving it.
Going crazy. Ooh, great to see, Ryan, isn't it? Look at this. They're really going for it, aren't they? Look at it, and the stadium as well is going equally as crazy. First ever goal for Panama in a World Cup. They're still cheering it.
They're knackered.
Yeah, they're really knackered, aren't they? So goal difference update, Pato.
Yeah, England and Belgium now level on goal difference.
So England and Belgium are now level on goal difference. This group is very tight.
10 minutes left in the game, though. Plenty of time if England do want to push on for another one. But it's always going to come down to that last game.
Do you think the players will know this about the goal difference? It'll be in their head, they'll be counting this up, or...?
Don't think so.
No.
No, I don't believe so, no. They'll just be disappointed that they wasn't able to keep a clean sheet.
Yeah. And again, nothing Pickford could have done there at all for that goal, was there?
No, nothing he could have done. I think it was just the two players that dropped too early that messed the whole line-up and allowed the Panama players to be onside.
So that is 7 goals. Interestingly, on that note, of course, we haven't seen a single 0-0 in this whole tournament. Before this game, there was 71 goals scored. We've seen another 7 today. Pato, it's been an unbelievable tournament for goals, hasn't it?
I mean, it's been a weird tournament for goals. Like after the first few games, I think only 36% of goals after the first round of games have been scored from open play, whereas at previous tournaments it's been about 70%. Been penalties in pretty much every game I've watched, I swear. Set-piece goals have really been making the difference in this tournament. But partially that's a good sign. I think that even the bad teams at this tournament, the small teams, you know, quote-unquote, have been really organised defensively with very few exceptions. I think it's a sign of the smaller teams getting better rather than the big teams getting worse, that we've seen a lot of 1-0s, a lot of penalties making the difference.
Yeah, 14 of those 71 goals before this game again, come in the 88th minute or later. That's nearly 20% of goals, Ryan, in the 88th minute or later. Famous one, of course, last night with Toni Kroos.
How hard will it be for these players to maintain their level, given that they've just played a really long season and now they've got to go into this intense month of matches as well?
Yeah, I feel like the Premier League is the most physically demanding league in the world, and our whole squad play in the Premier League, so it is difficult, but I feel that's where it comes down to Gareth and his team, how they've managed them over the past sort of 3 or 4 weeks to manage their load and make sure that they're...
Oh, it's a big chance for Sterling. It's just gone wide.
To make sure they're fit and fresh going into the competition.
Yeah, because I mean, like, when I have a leg day on like a Friday, like on Wednesday, I'm still like struggling up the stairs, to be honest with you.
When was the last leg day, Pato?
Friday's always the leg day.
They look good, his legs, don't they, Ryan?
Stop it, Smithy. Stop it. Leave it.
Feeling the jeans well.
I played tennis yesterday and it's agony today.
So let's just reiterate the group situation. Belgium and England, of course, both on 6 points, which means after this, England and Belgium are through. Panama and Tunisia will both be out. England play Belgium. It goes... if the points are equal, it goes down to greatest number of points, of course. It then goes to goal difference in all the group matches. After that, it goes to goals scored in all group matches. Okay. So, very tight, not a lot in this. And then after that, it is head-to-head. Then after that, it is goal difference resulting from the group matches between the teams concerned. Then it is greater number of goals scored in all group matches between the teams concerned. Then it is greater number of points obtained regarding fair play conduct. And after that, if all that is equal, it goes down to the drawing of lots by FIFA.
Nice. I would love that to happen.
I'd have had.
What would you have? If all of that was equal, would you have a arm wrestling or a penalty shoot or something?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors is good, yeah.
Yeah, I think arm wrestling Belgium would win. They put up Moussa Dembele, right?
Are you surprised Moussa Dembele doesn't start for Belgium? Because when we interview Spurs players, in fact, we put this out, we interviewed this year 4 or 5 Spurs players, Soccer M teammates, player, best football player, every single Spurs player says Moussa Dembele.
Amazing.
In training, amazing.
Yeah.
Can't speak hard enough for him. With that said, are you surprised he's not starting in the Belgium team?
I am to a certain extent, yes. I think the only criticism that you could probably have of Moussa is at times he doesn't move the ball quick enough.
Right.
And I think for Hazard and Lukaku and Mertens to get the best out of them, you have to get the ball to them as quick as possible. So that's probably the only reason I can really think of Musa not starting, because everything else to his game is, he's unplayable at times. You just can't get the ball for him.
Well, I suppose as well, he's 31 now, isn't he? And you do, as good as he still is, you do start to see him slowing down a little bit, which I guess is why we've maybe heard some rumours about Juventus and Inter Milan in for him.
Yeah.
Because that would.
He's a player that is
career.
linked to the move this summer, actually.
He's an incredible player. I mean, he's still going to be useful for Spurs if they keep him, but you can understand if they want to get some money for him while he's still a valuable player, because you can imagine him going to Italy and absolutely tearing it up.
Yeah. So it's the last 5 minutes, 6-1 England. Great fans. Panama fans are still celebrating that goal, Ryan, aren't they?
Yeah,
Great
I mean,
to
from
see.
their point of view, it's just...
I was their moment, isn't it, when they scored their only World Cup goal. We're talking about England, Belgium. Of course, there's another group, Panama, Tunisia. Who do you fancy that game? I know it doesn't mean anything, but having seen both teams...
I think Tunisia looked...
You think Tunisia look
stronger, yeah.
Yeah, there's some interesting talent in that Tunisian side, right? You know, people will be looking at Wabi Kazri, at Elias Shkri in central midfield. You know, a lot of those guys playing in Liga, and obviously, as is always the case, I guess, with the North African nations. But even the smaller teams at the World Cup, most of them have got at least some talent that's very interesting. Actually, Panama are kind of interesting in that they've got so few kind of young stars. According to Transfermarkt, I looked this up, they're the least valuable squad at the World Cup. Their total squad value is 8.4 million euros. It's unbelievable, really.
Another chance, another set piece, dealt with a lot better this time from England. So, Ryan, 5 minutes to go, man of the match. Do you give it to Kane because he scored the hat-trick? Are there other players that you've been impressed with? Who do you give it to?
I think Kieran Trippier was... For me, Kieran Trippier and Jesse Lingard were the best two players in terms of their overall performance. Kieran was creating loads of chances. Jesse was just bright and his movement was brilliant. So,
Has anyone kind of taken you by surprise at this tournament in the England squad? Has anyone been kind of better than you thought? Or who's the kind of unsung hero, maybe? I know you talked about Jordan Henderson before.
In terms of unsung heroes so far, I'd say Jordan, because that role in this formation is massive. So I think everyone's just playing to their potential at the moment.
Yeah,
it's nice to see, because a lot of the times we've got to major competitions and World Cups and players have underperformed. We're not seeing that. I'm not surprised by any of these performances, because we see them week in, week out. So it's just about getting the most out of each player.
Yeah.
Pete, any more from us in Social Corner?
I'm just
what's going on
in the comments on the video at the minute, and there's a wee bit of criticism on Raheem Sterling, saying that Rashford should be starting ahead of him. I think obviously criticising he hasn't got a goal yet. Don't think he's got an assist. I think a lot of people in the comments saying Southgate should favour Rashford.
I'm a big fan of Rashford. It's just where do you fit him in? Will Rashford be looking at this thinking, we're 6-1 up, I haven't even come on? Well, he'd be unlucky not to have featured in this, wouldn't he? Do you replace Sterling for Rashford? That's a tough one, isn't it?
It is tough, because, like I say, my strongest team has Sterling in it.
Yeah.
I think maybe the Belgium game, Gareth might make a few changes and give Rashford a start and give him the opportunity. But I think over the course of the season, there's no doubt that Raheem's performed better than Rashford, and he's deserved his chance in this England team. And then if you're winning 2 games in the opening 2 attempts in the World Cup, you can't really argue to really change too much, to be honest.
Do you remember in the Euros as well, Hodgson made a lot of changes in that group game, and then he got heavily criticised for that, because critics can say it can disrupt a team, can't it? I mean, there's not a huge amount of games you have to play to win a tournament. It's better once you've got a formation and a team, is it not, to stick with that throughout?
Yeah, I think from a player's point of view, 100%. Obviously, if you're on the bench and you come on and you do well, then you would like to think you'd get an opportunity in the next game, but like I say, if the team are winning games, then for me, you shouldn't change a winning side unless it's forced upon you through injury. And Gareth's obviously done that today with Loftus-Cheek in place of Dele Alli.
So closing moments now, 88th minute. Pato, do you think we'll see another goal in this game?
I wouldn't have thought so, no. I think England are just going to keep possession, keep it nice and tight. The last thing they'll want is to concede another one. It's weird, actually, the kind of party atmosphere seems to have diminished a little bit among the England fans, despite the fact they're winning 6-1.
Yeah.
It is frustrating, isn't it, when you drop that clean sheet kind of late on in the game.
And also with the way the group is, it could make a bit of difference to England's final game. Pete?
Yeah, I'm just seeing
what else you got for us?
Funny tweet here. A picture of the best player to wear an England shirt and David Beckham, obviously a young Harry Kane there. I suppose is Harry Kane the best player in English history? I mean,
that's a
big claim.
I'm a big fan of him. That's a big shout early doors, isn't it?
Yeah, that's.
I would argue David Beckham is, but that's just me. I'm just a massive
Gaza for me is Gaza for me, Ryan. Because of how he lit up a tournament, it was Gaza mania. His personality.
What about those boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
can't look
for
past.
me, I haven't really seen them play, so I can't really judge them that much.
It's a valid point, isn't it? It's all on YouTube.
Yeah, well, it's hard to judge them when you haven't seen them play through their career, etc.
Yeah. Do you think Harry Kane will go on to become England's all-time top scorer? Definitely.
For sure.
You didn't even pause when I asked you that. You think definitely?
Listen, obviously, I couldn't bet when I was a player, but if I was allowed, I would have bet. I mean, before Harry made his debut, even when he made his debut, I would have put money on Harry breaking the record for.
So you always knew when you were a youth team player with Harry, you always knew back then he had that ability to become one of the best strikers in the world.
I'll be honest, he's taken me by surprise in the short space of time that it's taken him to get to that level. But listen, I always knew he'd score goals. Wherever he'd be, whether it be at Tottenham or elsewhere, I always knew that he'd score goals because he always did score goals. And he's just proven it now. He's obviously taking care of his body a lot more now, and he's a bit of a specimen, to be honest. And you can tell he's working at his game, but he's just got that natural being in the right place at the right time. And I think to be a top goal scorer, you have to have that, and he's definitely got that.
So in the dying minutes now into injury time, England trying to get their 7th goal, which just sounds great in itself, that the fact that we're chasing the 7th goal in a World Cup game. But I think I'm with you, Pato, here. Sort of just quieting down a bit. I can't see another goal.
Yeah, I think this one's done, but at least there's a big game to look forward to. That England-Belgium one, I think it's going to... That looks like being the most exciting matchup of the group stage at this rate.
I mean, for the neutral as well, that England-Belgium game, you'd look at Belgium yesterday and England today and think, it's going to be goal. I mean, it'd probably be 0-0 now, I've said that, but it should be goals galore in that. Interestingly as well, we had a Sky Bet customer who put £2 on John Stones' first goal scorer and England to win 6-1. So that customer will be sweating now because obviously we're set to win £1,600 from a £2 bet. John Stones' first goal scorer. By the way, John Stones' first goal scorer in England 6-1. It's an amazing shout, isn't it?
Well, John Stones just now as well, and that last free kick came pretty close to getting his hat-trick as well. I think you had a request to bet on that earlier as well. So
yeah. And there are 2.5 minutes left of this game. England 6, Panama 1.
It's also just seeing there on the bench, Trippier seems to have some form of bandaging on his leg after coming off. Don't know if he's got a knock.
Yeah, good point that.
That'd be a big blow.
Whether it's a precautionary knock or not. So we just want a goal from Sterling now to top off a perfect afternoon for England. I hope that's not. That would be a big blow if that is a knock to Trippier. I mean, what would they do if Trippier wasn't fit? What would you do with that position?
I think maybe Alexander-Arnold's been.
Yeah, do you think? Yeah.
Very good for Liverpool in the latter stages. I don't think they'd change the formation, so.
That'd be a huge game to him step into, wouldn't it?
Belgium.
But then he's played in Champions League finals and things, so.
Yeah, Kyle Walker could shift over as well. But I mean, I guess maybe you talked about bringing Eric Dyer into the defence, and that could mean Kyle Walker moving out there.
Possibly, but I think if Gareth's going to keep that back three formation, you'd probably want to keep that unit together. I probably don't think it would be healthy if Kyle was to play as a right wing back. To chop and change, it'd be very difficult to expect him to just be able to do that with ease.
Yeah, and I remember Arsene Wenger once talking about how sometimes the temptation can be to kind of destabilise different areas of your squad. You know, you move one guy over to cover that, and then you move another guy over, and suddenly the whole squad's kind of moving around.
As we said earlier, Patrick, that goal is massive because the group currently, England and Belgium have the same points, They also have the same goal difference and exactly the same goals scored as well. So there's nothing celebrating. So as things stand, England are top on bookings. Belgium have received 3 yellows. England have received 2. So England currently sit top. So if the game is 0-0 and there's no bookings, England will win the group on bookings. That's how tight it is. So that Panama goal is quite big for the group, isn't it?
I suppose, but they'll know, won't they, England, that it's always.
I wonder if they'll know this now. I don't think they'll know the situation right now.
But they'll have gone into this knowing that Belgium
yeah.
match was going to decide it, right? You know, that's the one that they're really pumped for, and with these ones, they've just got to get the job done.
We don't need a goal now. We don't need a booking now either, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, drawing of lots is a realistic situation if it's.
Maybe that's the day.
We might have rock, paper, scissors, mate.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, my. Oh.
Last chance.
That was an aggressive one from Fabian.
Right, we are in. It was an aggressive tackle, wasn't it? So it's the 94th minute. So it is England 6-1. Gareth Southgate looks very happy. His shoulder seems OK. It's not in a sling or anything.
Yeah, I'm sure this result will take some of the pain out.
Pete, one last tweet for us, I hear.
Yeah, I'm just seeing one. Your boys at Soccer AM put up a tweet when someone says football's not coming home.
And there is the Telly Alley, yeah.
The belief
That's a
is
famous
real.
sketch that he did with James Corden, yeah. And that is the full-time whistle. It has finished. England 6, Panama 1. Big congrats to that customer who had Cahill first goal scorer.
Oh, yeah.
And England 6-1. Unbelievable. Harry Kane with 3 goals. Stones with 1. Lingard with 1. Stones with 2, actually, wasn't it? Yeah, Stones with 2. England's biggest ever World Cup win. We topped the group thanks to bookings. I mean, it will take England will take anyway to top the group, won't they? Amazing. 6-1. Players look great. Don't seem to be any major injuries. Slight concern with Trippier. We just saw him with a bit of ice there, but hopefully he's OK for the next game. So we can show you the group. This is it. England and Belgium top. As we said, Tunisia and Panama are out. They are going home. They do play each other next, of course. England top. As you can see there, just a quick reminder, they both have the same points, they both have the same goal difference and the same goals scored. So England are currently top of Group G because they have received less bookings than Belgium. England with 2, Belgium with 3. Ryan, so having seen England and Belgium at the end of that game, where do you assess our chances going into that game? Do you make us favourites?
I think it's a 50-50, to be honest. I don't think you can read too much into the game today or the Belgian game yesterday. I think it's just going to be a shootout. 2 teams that want to attack. It's going to be interesting. I'm sure, I'm hoping there's going to be some goals in it because you've got 2 teams playing a similar formation, looking to attack, and yeah, it's going to be an exciting game.
Pato, how do you think that game will unfold?
I don't know. I kind of favour England in it. You know, I just think that organisation at the back will tell. With Belgium, it's individual quality, but even the other day, you saw De Bruyne was playing really deep, and it was only Lacey who was able to get forward. I think with England, you know, Ryan's absolutely right. Southgate has produced a system which is basically getting the best out of everybody, and for that, I think they kind of deserve to top the group.
Interesting scenes here now. Panama. As you say, you've got to say, for a nation like Panama, it's incredible that they're in the World Cup. For their fans, they've seen a World Cup goal. There seems to be a great togetherness in their camp now. They're going to go over to their fans. Credit where it's due. Their fans have probably had quite a good day out. They're still cheering that last goal, to be fair, for the Panama.
Yeah, they're overachieving just to be in this World Cup. Obviously, like, you think of the likes of Italy, Holland. I know they're a European team, but they're missing. So from the Panama fans, they were never going to win the tournament, and realistically, they was never going to get out of the group. So from their point of view, it should have just been about enjoying the occasion, and it seems like their fans are.
How hard is it now for Southgate to keep these players, well, the fans, the media, grounded now? Because we're seeing even on Twitter, Pete put out the poll, Harry Kane's a favourite to win the Golden Boot now, England are one of the favourites from the tournament. Suddenly, going into this with no expectation, he's got to manage that now, hasn't he? There's something else that Southgate has to think about.
Yeah, he has got to. I mean, it comes off the back of doing so well. When you're performing so well, that pressure and that expectation does come, but I mean, if you're going to go and do well and win the competition, at some stage, that pressure and expectation is going to come. It's coming a bit earlier than I would have liked, but at the same time, listen, these players seem grounded, and the manager as well, I'm sure he'll handle the media correctly, and listen, I don't feel that's going to be an issue for the team.
At what point, Pato, do you think Southgate comes out and goes, yeah, we can win this now?
I don't know if he ever does that.
You don't think he'll ever do that?
I mean, the thing you'd expect him to do after this is sit the ball down in the dressing room and say, well done, but come on, there's still a job to be done here. I mean, I actually really have a lot of faith in Southgate's ability to handle it. I think that he's doing a really good job in that regard. So I don't know why you change your winning formula. Maybe if they get to the final, he says, you know, we can win it. But before that, he's going to say, let's just beat the person in front of us. And at the moment, they look like they can beat whoever they come across.
Right, we can go now to Sam, who is with the Panamanians in London. Sam, how's it going down there, mate?
So it ended 6-1 to England. They got a consolation goal. I'm sure you guys are happy. How do you guys think the game went?
Can you repeat that again, please? I didn't hear you.
How did you think the game went?
Well, we made a lot of mistakes in the first half. We played a lot better in the second half. I mean, England, great team, great players, great DT. I mean, good team overall. But hopefully we'll learn a lot from this, and hopefully next game is going to be better.
Yeah, maybe you can get a result against Tunisia. What about you?
Yeah, no, I think putting the technicalities aside, it was a really good game. Like, historically, I think I'm really happy for the guys who have made it here. So, I mean, I think we did good in that regard. It's good for the guys to feel we can make it, we can do this, that the world can see us in this type of, you know, culturally important event. So, like, I'm just very happy to have been able to see them, you know, on the big screens and stuff. So, yeah.
So, you guys have watched England and Belgium play. So, who do you think is going to go further?
I believe Belgium is going to go further. They have a very good team. I mean...
What about you, Gond?
No, I would also say Belgium, man.
Belgium as
I
well.
mean, England was amazing, but I also think Belgium...
We just won 6-1, bro.
Yes, but, you know, things happen. But I think Belgium's really, like, it's facing up really strong. It's very organized. Yeah. Not saying England isn't, but, yeah.
Fair enough. That's it. 6-1 to England. Come on, England. Come on, England. Come on, England.
These are the scenes in the rest of the country. England fans, they are starting to believe we can go all the way and win the World Cup. Look at them. They will be partying early into the night. That is at Sheffield. It looks rammed, that bar in Sheffield. So the Panamanian fans seem to think Belgium are not going to beat us. I don't know where they've got that from, having seen their team lose 6-1. Ryan, before we go, favourites to win the tournament, having seen all the teams and having seen that England performance, who do you think, if you had to be one of the team now, who do you think are the winners of the World Cup?
I was back in France before the World Cup. I feel like they will get stronger as it goes on. I'll have to stick with those. I mean, it's just going to be a case of bits of luck and moments of brilliance. But for me, I think France, I'd probably sway towards them.
France. Pato?
Spain.
Spain? Brazil? I said France or Germany. I still don't think you can write off the Germans. You know, I still don't think you can write off the Germans. I did say France before the tournament. I'm not so sure now. Before we go, how far will England get? Because I'm looking at that and I'm saying semi-finals after that. Ryan, what do you think?
I'd probably say right now quarters.
OK.
Yeah, I think quarters is probably a realistic target for now.
With the right draw, semis.
Semis, yeah?
Yeah, I think quarters. I think they'll end up meeting Brazil in the quarters, and it'll just be too much for them.
You think Brazil would beat England?
Yeah.
You do? Yeah. What are the fans saying? Surely you think England are going to win the World Cup after that?
Right now, it's literally just all about Harry Kane. There's been over 200,000 tweets today about
200,000 tweets.
I think he's a top trend in the UK, but I mean it's just massively positive about England on Twitter and social media right now. And understandably after that performance.
Yeah, got to end with Harry Kane. Obviously, a teammate of yours. You spoke so highly of him. There he is. We're watching footage now. Favourite for the Golden Boot. He scored 5 goals. Just on his post-match interview. It's just been a perfect day for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely... I mean, he's had 2 penalties and one that's come off his heel for a hat-trick. He's leading the goal-scoring stats at the moment, and that's what he's been working towards these last couple of months since he's finished the season with Tottenham. So I'm absolutely delighted for him so far, yeah.
Right, that is all we had time for. Ryan, absolute pleasure. Thanks for coming back again. Pato, Pete, thanks for joining us. Yes. We will be back again on Thursday for the huge game, England against Belgium, to see who will top Group G. Ledley King is our guest in the studio. It should be a good one. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Soccer M and Football Daily's YouTube channels. We'll see you Thursday.
Spark your sports brain. Go global with Sky Bet.